miles. I run 19 miles. You know
what I mean.
And I don't. Let's see. Share to a page.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
Live exclusively for WCPT in Chicago, standing up and speaking out, here's Hal Sparks.
Welcome to the show, everybody. Happy Saturday to you. I think it's Saturday. Do we know what days are anymore? Do we still? It is Saturday, John? John's with us.
It's Saturday!
Oh, good. All right. So tonight, technically speaking, is all right for fighting, although we do not recommend it. We believe in peaceful protest and people just getting along.
But it's all right. Can't
stop lying in our chat says, hi, Johnny, as do many folks that are joining us this fine morning. And hopefully audio is okay in the chat room and on the stream. We're streaming live at twitch.tv/Hal Sparks right now, and also on my Facebook page and on Periscope. These are your three options right now because I have been kicked to the curb by YouTube by a copyright strike fraudulently put on my channel, which is apparently the way you can Tanya Harding anyone's YouTube channel. So that currently I'm in purgatory or YouTube jail of some sort.
YouTube jail.
Yeah, which I'm proud of. It literally it makes me feel like I'm a grown-up streamer at this point, that I've had one of those big takedowns. You know what I mean? Because it means you're on the radar. Means they're paying attention. And good morning to everybody over at Facebook and everybody out there listening just on the airwaves. Our number is, of course, 773-763-9278. And that's the way you can call in the show.
Videos of mine have been blocked on YouTube for my own songs.
Mm-hmm. That happens when you sell through TuneCore or one of these sites where you can post your own music. And it goes to iTunes.
I through CD Baby, and so then CD Baby made a claim on a song that I posted a live video of my band, and they're like, this song is actually copywritten. I'm like, I know, because it's our song.
By me, I know. Yeah. Well, I personally have had that problem with my own when I posted clips from Charmageddon. We used my song Animal from my band's first record as the intro music to all the clips, and I kept getting a strike, and I had to write a bunch of angry letters to the company I literally sell my music through, like a lot of indie artists do, and go, hey guys, can you stop striking my particular? Can we create a list of my channels?
Can you green flag just me, please?
Yes, right. With my own stuff. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah. And this is something, by the way, that's happening in terms of, and it wonderfully dovetails into a big part of our conversation this morning, is that you'll often, Johnny's now showing off his giant, freakishly long guitar player fingers right now, his alien face hugger knuckles. And so when indie artists or comedians or whatever have been posting their stuff on the internet as live stuff over time, even in the form of podcasts. Yeah, podcasts. Yeah, right, is. As podcasts have become an integral part of a lot of people's comedy and performance career, even a part of regular journalism in a lot of ways, the ability to post your podcast and have it readily available and consistently attainable by the people who would want to listen to it is not just an augmentation of your career, but an integral part of that if it was removed, would have a deleterious effect on your career. It would genuinely hamstring you, especially if you're growing an audience and people are counting on it and all that kind of stuff, as I am experiencing with YouTube. Hi, YouTube, if you're listening. But there are other elements within that, when musicians do it, where they can still sell physical CDs themselves, they can still go live and the like, that until the work from home shift happened and nobody could go out live and sell CDs or perform live in the case of comics, or a lot of podcasters were touring the country doing their podcast live.
Yep.
A lot of comedy clubs had, Adam Carolla was literally touring comedy clubs, not doing comedy, but just squatting on the space, taking it up, doing a live podcast, to the point where in future, there will be people doing live podcasting in front of a live audience in its own venue. I predict that once we get back to live performing, that will be a much more common
Yeah, well,
thing.
like My Favorite Murder and those people, they play theaters.
Yes, and we used to have a thing called radio in this country. You might be familiar with it. You're listening to it right now if you're driving around Chicago and the outlying area. And that's exactly what happened. We have literally looped back to 1930s entertainment, because people would go watch while people banging on pots and pans and having a pair of shoes on their hands, using coconut hooves as horses, all that kind of stuff. Then we got television, film, all these other, where you got to see the moving pictures. And then now we're back to people sitting in a theater watching people bang coconuts on a table and hit, clank silverware to make it seem like a dinner is going on as people read from papers. It's kind of extraordinary. And as a person who grew up loving old radio, I can't tell you how much I enjoy those kind of podcast experiences when they do them, when it's a live performance of something. And I predict that will be there will be a two-tier growth in that. The first being that there will be a lot more of that live that you will go see, because it's the easiest production to get back on its feet. Live readings of stuff, performance of books, performance of stories, those kind of things is easier to get back on their feet, as soon as theaters and things open again, say in the spring. And then in the future, after that, people will, I guess, cartoon those things, would be my guess. So, like the Ricky Gervais show on HBO, which was a cartooning of his podcast that he did with Carl Pilkington and Stephen Merchant. That's going to happen. Yeah, it's pretty great, but it's going to happen. That said, the other aspect of the work from home stuff that, if your internet gets taken down or it gets overloaded because suddenly everybody's staying at home and instead of having cable, they move to streaming. If you work from home, if you do what I do, which is stream live from your house, I use up a massive amount of bandwidth in my house when I'm doing my show. So having other, gaming and other stuff going on in the house, as many people who are now working from home and doing this kind of stuff or having Zoom meetings will know, it eats up the bandwidth that you have available to you and affects your ability to make a living, which is, a huge, it has to have a financial impact. You have to make decisions just like rationing food almost, but with your internet bandwidth, as it were. The same thing applies to the mail. When you are working from home, and you need to either mail out a product or receive payment or send and receive stuff through the mail that is not, large packages, let's say, that you might FedEx or UPS, that you could take advantage of the lower cost of using the postal service. If you have an eBay or an Etsy business, or you are shifting whatever business you had in retail, maybe you're one of these people who joins in these 5-station, those 5-station stores in malls that they used to have, where people would essentially put on it's like almost a vacant store, but they would have like 4 different artists or stations in there. We get to look at both me and me. There you go. Now I'm going to pin you in there, Johnny. There you go. So
sorry about that.
That's okay. So this is a real concern for the consistency of the mail for you is a financial factor. And as you try to gain ground, while the Walmarts of the world are already in place to handle this, while the Amazons of the world are already, in this, that if someone's going to buy something online from a small vendor or an individual who's trying to shift what they had as far as their physical work online temporarily or as an augmentation of what going forward they'll do both, that idea. To gain ground, you have to be able to be consistent. You have to have the customer feel like they can compete, that you're competitive with the people that they would also order from. If you're a small vendor and Wayfair is competing with you, or Walmart or Target online or any of these things, if you can't mail your stuff out with some reliable amount of speed, then you get negative hits on Yelp and reviews. Fewer people will order from you, and it grinds you down to where you never get off the ground. It is yet another way where giant corporations that already have kind of the dual stream situation going on are benefiting from the shift over, and that anybody who might provide something that's original, personal, that's available, that's of equal quality, counts on the normal functioning of the country. They can't drive to their store, they can't drop off the stuff that they consignment sell or whatever they do, so they're doing it through the mail. If the mail is sabotaged, they'll never get off the ground. They will never get that toehold they need in the next 8 to 10 months before things start slowly but surely returning to normal. That will allow them to feed their family and have some sense of hope that they will be able to develop a business they can rely on. Hey, Gonzo. So the mail becomes crucial in this beyond even the election. And when we come back, I want to talk about some of the attacks on the mail that are happening right now. And let me be abundantly clear. We need to make Louis DeJoy's name famous. That name has to be synonymous with sabotage and anti-democratic activity, with Mudd and Benedict Arnold. And I will tell you, do I know for a fact that Louis DeJoy is doing this for political reasons? Well, he's a Trump bundler. He was a Trump fundraiser before Trump gave him the job. But like Trump, I think it's about what's in it for him. And I'll tell you about that when we come back. It's the Hal Sparks Radio program, mega worldwide on WCPT Radio, Chicago's Progressive Talk. Now streaming at twitch.tv/Hal Sparks. It's adorable. It's fun. There's all kinds of emoticons and things and fun things. Just join and subscribe. You can subscribe on there and be part of the chat using your Amazon Prime. If that doesn't make my point, I don't know what does. We'll be back. So, hi chat room. Good morning. Hello. How are you? Thanks for the follows and the joining in and gathering and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, Louis DeJoy, a name that will live in infamy, says Tom Hebert. Hey, EO. Thanks for throwing in all the emotes. Stream video going south. Oh, it's not strong. Is it choppy and weird? Is it being odd? Hold on, let me check. Oh, yeah. Oh, I see. Is my computer hot? Yes, it certainly is. Yes, it is. This is one of the areas where I have to sneak around a corner and
lightly rest your wiener on the processor of what?
No, where it ends up being,
but
and you'll
your
see
ice cold wiener.
No, oh, hot dog. I see. I thought you were talking about something else. So, are your videos fine, Arlene? That's good. Yeah. So it's a little choppy sometimes, and yeah, there you are. Yeah, you shouldn't need a subscription to chat in the Twitch chat right now. Yeah, it's choppy because of the heat on my computer. But if I put my fingers on my computer, my body acts as a heat sink. And so you'll notice that it's getting smoother right now. It's literally because I am resting my fingers on my computer. This is true. Johnny and Hal flirting is life. We're not flirting. This is complete bro wiener talk.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I think I like
Now
this
let's
one
get
better.
back with Hal Sparks' radio program, Mega Worldwide.
Absolutely. Welcome back.
We're back?
We are now. We are ish back. Welcome back, everybody. Thanks for listening every Saturday. It's the Hal Sparks radio program, Mega Worldwide. We're on WCPT. WCPT820.com is the website for all your progressive talk needs. And you should bookmark it. I'm just saying. Throw them a bone, raise those numbers. We vote with our eyeballs as well as our hands and our ballots and our feet and our dollars. So the reality of voter fraud as a threat to democracy versus people not voting is statistically an outsized pile of ridiculousness. The number of people who don't bother to vote, who don't register, who don't participate, that is, if there is a crime around voting in the United States, it is this abdication of the basic rules of citizenry that a lot of Americans do, more than anything else. Will we ever be able to pass an Australian kind of rule where if you don't vote, you get fined or something like that? No, we won't, because the basic rights in this country also within them have an opt-out aspect. You know, the right to bear arms might not be infringed, but you're not forced to carry arms in the same way you're not forced to quarter soldiers in your home. You have the right to free speech, but you don't have to offer up your opinion. The not speaking is integral to that speech part. If you choose not to decide, you still have made a choice, as Rush would say.
I was really going to do that.
Were you?
Nope.
I believe you, because we are simpatico on even more than the cold hot dog level. So, thank you, Mikorama. Thanks everybody for the support in the chat. Because YouTube hamstrung us, we can no longer survive on super chats. It literally destroyed the entire arm of that for the foreseeable future, possibly up to 3 months. So if you can subscribe on Twitch, or if you want to donate at the PayPal address, that would be lovely. If not, just listen and let's get into our story. So the big fear-mongering that the Trump administration has been saying, and the actions that they are taking around it through Louis DeJoy, the anti-democratic chaos agent put in charge of the Postal Service by Donald John Trump to guarantee what they think is electoral victory by limiting the number of people who can vote by mail in a pandemic. The essence of what they are doing is, and what it's predicated on, if you listen to them, is voter fraud, and that ballots are going to be rounded up and stuffed in mailboxes, and dead people and dogs are going to vote. Virginia, did you hear that? They sent out ballots, according to the president. They sent out ballots. Thank you, Jester. They sent out ballots. Can you imagine? To dead people and dogs, Johnny Million. Horrified. First of all, how do they return them? Well, clearly by Democratic operatives rounding up dead dog ballots and bringing them back. Of course, never mind the fact that in the Virginia case, it was a private company that mailed out mail-in ballot applications to people on an old list they had purchased. See, the voter rolls of every state are purged regularly of dead people and fraudulent accounts. You hear this every election cycle. And a lot of activists panic because right-wingers tend to use these normal, run-of-the-mill governmental purges, which are necessary to make sure that there's not a bunch of garbage in the voter rolls, dead people not continuing to be sent ballots and applications and the like. They purge people based on who's died or who's been convicted of a felony and is in jail. And
or people you just don't like the look of their name. I mean, you just gotta purge people.
You don't like the cut of their jib? Nope. You kick it out. This name
Bill
looks
Smith, highly unlikely.
Like him. But this name sounds a little brown to me, Gary.
Oh, got to get rid of the brown names.
Yeah, so especially when they line up. If you've got 6 Juan Hernandezes in the voter rolls and you don't bother to look at the middle initial and you just go, well, I mean, that could have been an F, it could have been an S, or it could have been a squiggle. I mean, I know it's on the driver's license, I know it's legit, but let's just, until nobody will call me on it until the election's over. So we got one Juan who is gone to jail, and so let's just wipe out the other 4 or 5 that are on here that can, that sound like this. Even if there's a J Hernandez, maybe his name is Jay, but maybe he meant to just write a J and it came out that way. So let's purge him too. If he's not on the rolls, he'll re-up to make sure he can vote, which is why you go to vote.org and make sure you're registered right now. Right now, while you're listening to the show, you can do other things. You have a computer. Go to vote.org, make sure you're registered, make sure you know what your polling place is, make sure you know the rules for mailing. Go do it. You're all ready. You have your phone in your hand all the time. There's nothing wrong with having this be part of your newly minted OCD, your disorder caused by the quarantine, where you're just constantly checking something. Add vote.org to that. Okay? So the big thing that they have is that these purges happen. Right-wingers always make use of those purges, the Chris Kobachs of the world, make use of these to purge people with similar names because, in the words of Steve Wyrick, they don't want everyone to vote.
No.
Their leverage in the election, the right-wing leverage in the election, goes down as the voter rolls go up. That's not even a question. They believe it. They admit it. They worry about it all the time. How can we purge the voter rolls? How can we do electoral college entirely? The hell with the public with the public vote, with the individual one-on-one vote. So,
which is why I get so angry at the both sides argument. There's only one side that wants fewer people to vote.
Exactly. Yes, there is, and the Republican side, the argument that you will always hear from these folks is that, well, the Democrats want fake voters to vote. They want dogs and dead people, and like it's Chicago 1935, right? Is the idea. But in this process, and I'll make sure I don't run over time because I've been streaming so much lately. I'm getting fast and loose with my commercial breaks, Johnny. You have to help keep me honest at the quarter hour and a half. Keep me crack that whip. Hey, honest. So one of the things that they bring up regularly is that there's going to be ballot stuffing, voter fraud. Trump himself says foreign countries are going to print. They are going to print ballots and dump them, and they're just going to be counted. But they're also going to cite Paterson, New Jersey, regularly. In Paterson, New Jersey, the reason they're going to cite Paterson, New Jersey, is because 4 people running for a city council, like 2 people on the city council and 2 people helping them, engaged in voter fraud and ballot harvesting and all this kind of stuff, and were arrested. They went to jail for it. You see, they tried it, but it was harder than they thought. Lots of people complained that their votes didn't show up, that their ballots didn't show up, and a lot of people that saw that they had voted went, no, we never received our ballots. We now know we didn't vote. Those guys aren't in office. They lost their seat. There were criminal charges against them, and this is the main case that they're using. Paterson, New Jersey, those guys who got caught and will go to jail as a sign that voting by mail isn't secure. Well, that's like saying that once the police arrest a murderer, that the town is pro-murder because the murder happened in the first place, ignoring the fact that it A, is a crime, and B, the person was caught and they were prosecuted. Now,
it really is like they don't understand justice. They want to scream that crime happened and then somebody was prosecuted, when really people demanding justice are crimes happen and nobody cares.
That's exactly right.
And
That's right.
the white people who killed the brown people don't pay the consequence.
That's right. And especially when it comes to election fraud and the like, because what the big thing in the Patterson thing, we got to take a break and we'll be back right after this with more of the show. The big thing in the Patterson case was 20%, you'll hear them say, 20% of the votes were thrown out. 20% of the ballots were thrown out. By the way, this is indicative of how hard it is to fake a ballot, because the guys who brought these fake ballots in had brought in ones from dead people and pets and all kinds of other stuff, or had fake names or had written it in themselves. And they don't match up. There's a voter roll that the state has. If it doesn't match by signature and by the voting pattern of the person, or or it isn't their name at all, or the person shows up as dead or a dog, or isn't there at all, it gets thrown out. If the person is standing in front of them, they get a provisional ballot. We've seen the problems with that. But when it comes to mail-in voting, it just goes away. Those votes are just going to get thrown out. So again, we're going to take a break. Go to vote.org, make sure you're registered, make sure everything's up to date. You know where you're going to vote, and then follow the rock the vote thing that's been hip since Johnny and I were at New Trier, which is plan on getting 3 friends to vote. Because if they can get rid of 20% of the vote, we need to triple the number of people participating this time around. We'll be back.
I'm going to go get me some water.
Yes.
I'm thirsty.
All right.
Iran. That looks awesome.
So far away. Yeah, this is my Crystal Skulls mug.
Come on. There it is. There. Oh, it's gone. It's
Oh,
gone.
it disappears?
No, hey, there it is.
Yeah, it has to be in front of me. Yeah. Yes, the USPS is a darling of the USA. You do not mess with the post office. Yes, we support the post office here. We are for it. Connie, thank you for doing that, by the way, for Miss Pam. And hi, Miss Pam. Did you find your way back into the Twitch chat? Thank you guys for, rolling with us during this. And and just so you know, chat room, talk amongst yourselves, and I will, when I can, I'll reference you guys. But on the normal radio show, it's a little different than the daily stream in that we're talking to the airwaves as well, so I'm more focused on the story of that and then some of the callers that the station has, because that's how they run. Hi, Allison. Yes, I did. We both went to New Trier, and you went to Lake Forest High School and live in Evanston now. That's awesome. Well, I went on many a date in movie theaters in Evanston. That was a regular thing. And my dad's girlfriend at the time lived in Lake Forest, so we lived up there all the time. I was there during the whole, what was it? Hold on. We got a level 1 hype train going on over there this is so funny. You guys are so great. We have so many emoticons to draw from now. I remember when we had 3, but I remember being in Lake Forest when the whole Mr. T is tearing down the old trees controversy happened. The Lake Forest, there goes the neighborhood thing. And it was so funny how at one point there were cries of this is, it's the Lake Forest people are all white and they don't like the black guy moving in. And literally it was, no, we loved the idea that they're moving in. It's his cutting down of 100-year-old trees that's the problem. Thanks, Lib and NC. You remember that, Johnny Million, right? The Mr. T tree controversy in Lake Forest?
Oh, totally, yeah.
Yeah. So nobody had a problem with Mr. T moving in. As a matter of fact, a lot of people thought it was really cool. We need a Twitch/Hal logo shirt. I insist, Robert Reynolds. I'll make one. And it'll be... you know what I should do is I'll make it kind of like this one, but I'll make it the rainbow flag or whatever to give our LGBT folks a wink and a nod. Which would be kind of cool. So, but yeah, nobody cared that Mr. T was a well-known black man moving in. There's a lot of, quite frankly, there were a lot of Bulls that were living up there as well, like Bulls players, you know, because they had money and they wanted a nice big house and they wanted to be far away from the white trash in Wilmette. And so they moved north. And,
Inside North Shore jokes.
Yeah, really. And yeah. And
this is Damian Purdue of Think Theory Radio.
That's
Saturdays
be
at
like
6 p.m.
Like
You're listening to Hal Sparks' radio program, Mega Worldwide.
White trash Wilmette.
That's right. Welcome back. Don't let them hear that on the air. We'll get in trouble.
Oh, shit.
Welcome back to the show. It is. We were discussing many things during the break, not the least of which our history in at New Trier and Lake Forest's experience with Mr. T cutting down the 100-year-old trees in his yard that caused much pearl clutching in you know, back in the day. It was a fascinating story. Oh, by the way, people are popping in the chat saying they are registered to vote and they checked. So in, you know, during that break, please let me know, by the way. And again, this applies for the record. Can I do this too? Because I know some people hate listen and hate watch on the right side. Understand this. If you're conservative or libertarian psychopath, because I don't think libertarians, it's not actually a governing philosophy. I think it's absurd. But for the record, let's say you are, you know, or you're a Green Party, or you're a Jill Stein spoiler from last time who's hoping to, you know, keep the kids in cages things going as long as possible. Whatever your thing is that I clearly disagree with as a motivation for voting, understand this. It doesn't matter. I want you to vote. I would rather lose to you on the field of argument and politics legitimately than have you hamstrung where you cannot vote and win artificially. Because that's how you get an undercurrent of malcontents burning stuff down and rioting and Bundys of the world taking over, you know, federal lands with guns and pointing sniper rifles at cops. The reason you give everybody a vote, the reason why you want everyone engaged, even if you disagree with them, is because you don't want a silent majority situation to happen all the time. You don't want, and the disenfranchised folks who are like, I don't even know what the point of voting is, the Democrats and Republicans are two legs in the same pair of pants, that whole garbage argument is another version of that discontent group. These are the folks that undermine democracy by basically wailing and moaning on YouTube and the like, causing everybody to doubt democracy in and of itself, which gives ballast and weight to the Russians undermining democracy all across the Western world.
Yeah, libertarians have no idea what they're really doing.
I mean, it's silly. It's adorable sometimes. Most of the time, you can
Once
tolerate it.
you're past 19 years old and you realize there are other people in the flipping world, and that you're in a society, if you want to go live in a log cabin, go scream into the woods that you're a libertarian.
Right, yeah. You will, by the way, in your libertarianness, eventually call for the cops or complain that the road doesn't go far out enough, or that the market you go to that your buddy set up in his barn gave you food poisoning. But, you know, it's a joke. And basically, if you look at the CHOP or the CHAZ or any of those variances of it, that's a crisscross between total anarchists, psychotic libertarians, and sovereign citizen types. It has nothing to do with Black Lives Matter. It has nothing to do with the protest against the actual functioning of a democracy or a government in and of itself. It is the antithesis of that very thing. The CHOP and the CHAZ are a mass delusion version of that psychopath that you see on these occasional people getting pulled over, where they say, my car doesn't need tags, you have no authority against me as a police officer to check my registration, I can have a gun on my lap because I have the right within my own lands and my car counts as that, like that kind of garbage. which is unsustainable in the interaction on your personal level with your own family, much less a functioning society where the rest of us need to go see our families and go to work and school our children and the like while we get on with it. So in that whole, that whole tide of nonsense over there, like Trump will often cite far left radicals and anarchists, and nobody really noticed that the anarchist part that he brings up is an addendum, because anarchists, I got news for you, don't vote. They don't believe in democracy. They're not activists for any particular cause. They are the school shooter version of a chaos agent politically. It has as much weight on democracy as incel flip-outs have on your marriage.
So when you say chaos, is that like Get Smart chaos?
No. That's at least funny, But in all honesty, this is what they constantly use. This is what Trump constantly uses as a justification for being against mail-in voting and being against the volume of people. I mean, he said the quiet part loud already. He said, the Democrats want all these new voters, instead of saying, his normal line, I think, which is what they believe, like illegals voting, which is the whole thing. But there's no evidence of that. He had his own people look into it. If you don't think if there were 3 million illegal votes in California in 2016, you don't think Bill Barr wouldn't have spent the better part of a year prosecuting at least one of them? Finding one of them. And again, the ROI on faking a vote of like these guys who got busted in Paterson, New Jersey, the return on investment to that activity, just to get it to be big enough to change the actual, the nature of a vote, especially in an election that is polling this far apart. You can change 78,000 votes in a 120 million vote election and tip the Electoral College. But when your candidate is losing by 8 to 11 points in a lot of states, the chances of that kind of fakery and chicanery actually doing anything is really slim. And if Bill Barr could find one case of voter bundling or voter fraud or going, you don't think they would have combed through all the electoral rolls of California, who voted, when they voted, and who for, and found one person who didn't have the right to vote that wasn't Ann Coulter or a member of the president's immediate family? You don't think they would have found it by now? You don't think that would have been the causal evidence? What has this guy been whining about since he got in office? Because he knows he lost the popular vote. He's been pushing back against that. I don't know, Johnny, you look like a ghost on the deck of the of Battlestar Galactica or something.
I was configuring the settings, and this one just kind of appealed to me.
Yeah, I can understand why. So if you're watching on the Twitch stream, you'll know what we're talking about, or on Periscope or Facebook. Everyone else is just completely confused. But the point is, if you don't, they went through the Mueller investigation with a fine-tooth comb. They ground through everybody. Did they find something that would have gotten Mike Flynn's case thrown out? No. They just commuted his sentence. Because if he accepted a pardon, he'd have to admit his guilt. And he had already pled guilty. So by commuting it and then giving him grounds to sue for malicious prosecution by commuting it, they can pretend for the foreseeable future that there wasn't a real case there when there absolutely was. The same thing is true of Ken Klein, what's his name? Ken Kleinmaker. The Kevin Klein, yeah. So the Kevin Klein Dave copy that he's the FBI lawyer that was busted this week and who pled guilty to altering a FISA application Let me tell you this before we go to break, and then we'll talk about it when we come back. It was the FISA application to continue, they already had one, continue looking at Carter Page, not the initial one, just to keep it going. The judge had already signed off on the first one. This was just to keep it going, to continue doing it. And the change he made would have made it more likely that the judge okayed the FISA warrant. Contemplate that during the break. We'll be back. Oh, are we glitchy again? My computer hot again? I gotta, hold on, I'm gonna turn on a fan. Well, I do that all the time, but you know what I'm saying. Let's see, is this, turn on you, where's the guy? There it is. I think that'll do it if it doesn't fall over and kill me.
Dummy.
You big dummy. Hopefully that wind will, oh, I know why. Is this guy turned on or off? Where'd you go? Why you, how come this doesn't work? Why does this guy not working? Is this guy working and then this guy's working? And then that guy got turned off and then this guy got driven into here and then this wire, this wire goes into here and then these wires got pulled out of this situation and I don't know why that would be. Yep, this fan is no longer on. That's why. What happened? What happened?
I see your thumb. I saw your thumb.
Uh-oh, somebody's going to steal my identity. Let's see. So this guy goes into this one. The leg bone goes into the thigh bone. Mm-hmm. And then the thigh bone is connected to the rib bone. And then you give the dog a milk bone, Charlie. All right, this guy's here. This guy's an extension. Aha! It's a trap. I'm starting to understand, I think. No.
Oh.
Nope, that's not it. I'll figure it out. The other fan's going now. It should help some, though. But I'm certain that I'm a little choppy right now, but I will figure that part of it out. But until then, oh my God. I think is there advertising on Twitch? I think that's if it's free. I definitely need I have backup fans. I have you guys.
Aww.
All the folks that have moved over to Twitch from YouTube. Yeah, there's no YouTube stream today. I apologize. Please let everybody know if you can tweet out and whatnot.
This is Tom Hartman, and you're listening to the Hal Sparks radio program, Mega Worldwide on Chicago's Progressive Talk, WCPT.
I think it goes the other way around. Doesn't the music start and then the Tom Hartman thing comes in?
It's my first day.
That's all right, Paul. Welcome, Paul, by the way. Thank you for filling in for us, Paul. We greatly appreciate it. It's nice to have you here with us. Much love from Johnny and I and the entire chat room. Devin, our normal engineer and producer and screener and everyman, is not with us today because there is a COVID in the household issue, and he is out for 2 weeks in quarantine, away from the rest of the station and everybody who works there. And we are going to check in with him live next Saturday in the middle of his 2 weeks away to see how his health is and all that and keep track of him because he has not tested positive yet. They're going to he's going to have a test, but a member of his household did. Yeah. And so he's got a, I guess the station is going to have him tested on Monday because it just happened, and so he can't be in the station obviously, and he's going to be out for 2 weeks during this time. And this is an ongoing concern for businesses all over the place because we've continued all through this. The station continues doing the best they can with the protocols they have. But if you're an engineer on a radio show and you're a host on a radio show, and you need, a couple of sound people to keep the thing together, and you've got to be, and the time scale of it is such that you can't do it off site. There's a tremendous difficulty in just simply going, okay, everybody work from home right now. You know who can do that? Google. Everybody at YouTube, for example, can work from home practically. There's some people who, scan the giant wall of screens for, untoward content being thrown up, but a lot of that's automated in ways that it wasn't before. And but a lot of these stations and, small businesses across the country cannot afford to do that. Simply cannot. Now, back to what we were talking about. So, Carter Page, from the very beginning, Carter Page, for many of you who watched the Chris Hayes interviews, which were hysterical and depressing and ridiculous and enticing, and some of the most obvious flirting that anyone has ever done with Chris Hayes since he, I think, conceived his last child.
I really thought that they were going to go places.
I did. I really thought that. I thought that relationship, I think, Page and Hayes, as a podcast,
they were all in love
at
with
least.
His eyebrows. Remember the
the total like.
His eyebrows would go up with every question that he couldn't answer no to.
Oh yeah. And let's be abundantly clear. Carter Page is a moron. Without question. He is not a smart person. And anybody who listens to him talk for more than 10 minutes is like, I think this is one of the dumbest people I have ever heard speak in my life. Yeah. Like, this isn't even because there's people who give at least the illusion of intellect. I think I do a fairly decent job there.
You got me fooled.
Yeah, exactly. I can talk at length about a lot of things and say nearly nothing. No, I'm kidding. But I'm actually quite smart. And that's, you can tell because I just said so. But in the case of Carter Page, anybody, including the Russians, could listen to him speak English even if they didn't speak the same language and were like, this guy's an idiot, okay? And they were joking about Carter Page in the communications that the Mueller report came up with. There were phone calls where they talked about what a useful idiot he was. And in the case of, because that is clear to anyone, that is obvious to anybody who listens to Carter Page talk for a second. No one would trust him, anybody who, perhaps an equal idiot. But, Leslie in our chat says he's got an 80 IQ. Why would Putin invite him to do anything? Invite him to anything? Well, first of all, certainly not for his intellect or to give a lecture on economics. But you know what he's good for? You know what he's really good for? Carrying an envelope. All during the discussions between the Trump administration and the Russians during the lead up to the election and during the transition when Mike Flynn was kissing Sergei Kislyak's butt and telling him, don't worry about it, we're going to rescind the sanctions, something they had no right or ability to do. They had passed through the Senate and the House with a veto-proof majority. There was no way they were getting out of this. They were just going to try and drag them out as long as possible. Donald Trump has famously been anti-email his entire life. Now, why? Because most of the email stuff that he's seen people get busted for is stuff he does himself. Fraud, paying off porn stars and affairs, arranging for abortions, all that kind of stuff. When that stuff comes up in court, check out Jared Kushner's dad if you want to know what I'm talking about. Trump has been famously anti-email and anti-electronic communications. He records most of his phone calls. He prides himself on being able to say what he needs to say in a phone call without saying anything that is legally binding. I think it was in the Michael Cohen book that just came out. Like Trump would not say, I want him to die. He'd go, I just wouldn't mind if it happened. That kind of languaging, which means nothing if you're just doing it from a distance or you're a troll on the internet. But if you know the guy personally and you know some people personally who would do it, that kind of a statement, much like when the mob uses that kind of language, takes on a whole new meaning. And so Trump is a big fan of paper messages that are destroyed. Old school 60s spy work. That's why he and Kim Jong-un exchanged beautiful love letters. The correspondence between Trump and Putin directly, when it's not on a phone call with no one listening now that's in the White House, because he thinks he has complete control over that, and perhaps he does, because he has purged everyone who isn't a complete sycophant, is the fact that during the campaign and the lead-up, one of the ways they communicated was by paper. The person who brought that paper to and from the United States and gave it to high-ranking officials in the Russian government and then left, had a vodka, and went home was Carter Page. The FISA warrant to continue investigation and to continue the investigation into Carter Page, by the way, at the point when he had already been a useless idiot. Yes, I meant that. Entailed a detail, apparently. It was Kevin Kleinmaker. You can make your own Kevin Klein, which would be lovely to have around the house. You moron. I can't even do that quote. Stuck up, pompous. Yeah. We'll do, on the regular stream, I'll start throwing in some Fish Called Wanda quotes. Go. But Kevin Kleinmaker, what he changed on the FISA application that he is pleading guilty to changing was the detail that Carter Page had previously been a government source. He had provided information to the government before. And that in and of itself would say to a judge, okay, this guy had interacted with us before, had a relationship with our government, and now he is apparently decided that the money's on the other side. That's even more concerning. A spy or a courier who's innocuous and just kind of carries stuff is worrisome enough. But somebody who may have acted and had information before, who's now working against the interests of the United States, is actually more deserving of a FISA warrant against them.
Overreach.
And there is a case to be made that Kevin Kleinmaker, in changing that warrant, taking that detail off, actually benefited the Trump administration. That there would be as much an argument by the Eric Holders of the world during the transition, or Sally Yates worrying about a prosecution of this, that Carter Page's identity we were pretending not to know. We were pretending not to know that this guy had access and information before, and now he may be sharing it with Russian spies, specifically Sergei Kislyak and Andrei Dvorkovich, who was his fellow courier. He was the guy who met him. He used to work for Medvedev, and his father runs the Russian Chess Federation, which is, by the way, one of their spy training arms is chess. And so if you're a major spy in Russia, you have to learn chess and you have to be good at it. So the chess world there is loaded with spies. We got to take a break. We'll be back right after this. Hi, Jess. Did Gonzo come and go? I think he said see ya, but I didn't know quite why, if there was a reason for that. Yeah, I'm in YouTube jail. Twitch, Periscope, or CPT, or you can go to twitch.tv/HalSparks, or you can join the Discord, and you can chat over in there if you want. That's another chat option that we have as well. That's a free chat you can get in. Hi, Brent, in the chat room. We're good. So, right now the show is in a commercial break, and let's see, channel analytics. Let's reopen this. By the way, there was just an anonymous person who just gave oh, hey Hal, it's V Gaber. Oh, hi, lock them all up. I know you put lock them all up, but it looks like lock them all up, which sounds like a line from Stranger Things. But thank you so much. And yeah, so the super chat thing on Twitch is very weird. You do it in bits and you purchase them and you have to do that. And it's a little bit like, yes, I do play chess, but I'm not good enough to be a Russian spy. I love it, but I seldom get a chance to play against anybody. I have a hacker friend. He's a hacktivist who I adore, and he and I play chess. And we've had the ability to have 3 games in the last year, and it's been he won 1, I won 1, and there was a draw. Because the game was just going on where we were just trapped. And he's a hacktivist. He's part of what's effectively like a red team, where they go and stop hacker groups and push back against them and all that kind of stuff. And it's they get assigned to those kind of things. And I think his wife is Russian. And I have to say, I've always been like, I don't know if you're being set up. I mean, I don't doubt that there are, if I was a Russian woman, I wouldn't want to be there either. I would do whatever I could to get out of Eastern Europe as a woman and marry some nice dude with a job who's gainfully employed, or a nice lady, if that's your thing, or anything on the spectrum. Join a group of pansexuals, I don't care, but leave there for a relationship and settle down. Yes, he's a professional anti-hacker. He also he's one of those guys who goes after human traffickers. So they go through their sites and they break up their websites that they use coded stuff to, move human beings. And he's a good dude. But I've often thought occasionally, I'm like, Love Hal, that's why I got Twitch. Well, I appreciate you moving, Chechens. I know it's not easy. I appreciate you guys. Hi aus Deutschland. Auf Wiedersehen. Schön dich zu sehen. Sprechen Sie Deutsch bitte? Nein. Oh, 8, 7, 6, 15. Yeah, he's a white hat hacker. Hal, are you talking about Snowden? No, I am not. Snowden's a mess. And Snowden was trapped in Russia, whatever you feel about him, by Glenn Greenwald and The Intercept. They delivered him to Russia, and knowing full well he wouldn't be able to leave. Yeah, I'm not a Snowden fan, but the reason he's in Russia is because Glenn Greenwald got him there and left him there. The Intercept's main financial backer is one of the eBay founders who's a libertarian right-winger.
There you go.
They're meant to be chaos anti-democracy agents. What you do, and that's what the useful idiot thing is you go find some people who are saying the right things against your enemy that you want, but appear to be on their side, and then you pay them more money than they would have earned on their own, and then it gives them outsized influence that they did not earn amongst their own society. It wasn't Peter Thiel, it was one of the other ones, Neoseist. But they're all like that, so. Can't figure that out, but glad guys like him exist. I would argue that applies more to Reality Winner, for example, than Snowden. Snowden he's an IC chaos agent for Russia. Sorry. What he told about people was like self-evident. We all knew that the Patriot Act gave all this outsized ability to spy on Americans. Nobody was surprised by that.
Hal Sparks radio program, Mega Worldwide.
I've had people walk out of me before, but not when he was being so charming.
Video streaming at Hal Sparks.
Nobody cares about Reality Winner.
You of the secret sludge you're troweling out.
Puss-faced little pimp stick.
True progressive talk.
Might be a good time for you guys to
give up. So welcome back to the show. 773-763-9278 is our number. You can go to twitch.tv/Hal Sparks and join in the conversation there as well. I am in YouTube jail for the foreseeable future because of a copyright strike on a 4-year-old video from the radio show from 4 years ago that apparently wasn't
4 years ago?
Yeah, which apparently wasn't a problem until we cleared, 13,000 followers on YouTube all of a sudden, and having 103+ K on Twitter, and then starting to grow on once I opened it back up to Facebook, all of the Qs and maggots and Trumpsters were starting to throw shade, and I was getting kind of like community strikes. Most of those get thrown out immediately because it's self-evident, and they, on Facebook, for example, as I speak on this show, whether you turn on the closed caption or not, it produces one so that bad words are red flagged. So that if you're saying some stuff that's, if you're swearing and using a lot of bad words, whatever their bad word list is, yes, you'll get kicked off. I mean, you can say the world is flat and vaccines cause autism, and that John Jay is going to land in a Piper Cub on the White House lawn and start arresting people like Hillary Clinton and James Comey and Tom Hanks for pedophilia and foment discontent on that level so high that somebody takes an AR-15 down to a pizza shop and starts firing bullets in the air. You can do that. That's fine.
Still waiting for the downside here.
Yeah, no. That you can do. But apparently if Trump plays YMCA during his public campaign events and I cover those and they start playing the song, I can get a copyright strike on that song even though he is using it against the rules of the people who wrote it, against their requests, and it's a public event with the President of the United States. And those I can push back against. But the other ones, yeah. Oh, yes, I use rather stout language, by the way, during the regular stream because I'm not on the regular radio. And that's why I check all the boxes that say, hey, this is not necessarily for kids. The fair use rules are apparently, they blow right by that. So I have a fair use symbol that comes up before my show, and it should be followed because it is it is a public event with the President of the United States. Whatever happens there, because here's the thing, if something untoward happened at one of those things, there was a fight broke out, or there was somebody threw a shoe at him, or on one of these tarmacs he's talking on, a plane had a problem and crashed behind him. If I'm covering that on multiple sources and he's playing that music, having to take the audio out to avoid a copyright strike on a public event involving the President of the United States is an undue burden to the presentation of the news, as far as I'm concerned. If you don't want your song used in situations like that, then do not give him the right to use it as a campaign theme song leading into and out of the campaign events. That would seem logical. But it's really the reason, and I'm fairly convinced, that the reason that they're using YMCA at the end of his rally speeches right now and these weird little gaggles he does, The only reason I can think of, besides the fact that Mike Pence got a hold of the iPod, was that they know that, I guess Universal Music or whoever owns that is particularly litigious, and it will shut down. They can use it to shut down selectively sites that are playing his stuff and commenting on it, like me. That's the only thing. So, apparently, V. Gabriel, thanks for joining us in the chat, and thanks for helping everybody get in there. I know it's a weird transition from YouTube to Twitch for a lot of people. If you can't do it, my Facebook page is literally Hal Sparks. It's the Hal Sparks page on Facebook. It's the only official one. It's verified and everything. If you want to go and watch there, join in the chat there. You won't be able to chat if you join just today right away. You'll have to wait 15 minutes or so we know you're legit. And then if you just are a Twitter follower and you listen to the show and the news that way, you can go to the Periscope. It'll pop up at the top of your feed and you can watch the show there. Otherwise, just listen on the radio. That's all good. So over the last week, we have seen the rounding up of mailboxes, the limiting of mail service, the removal of mail sorting devices, and the obvious, if anybody's paying attention, the obvious reason why Donald John Trump would be for this is because if you look at his poll numbers right now, his only path to getting within the margin of error is to lower the vote by 5%. If you're losing by 10 points on average, dropping at 5 points gets you within the 3 to 5 point margin of error. And then the cheating and other stuff, and maybe you think some sort of last minute thing will save you by announcing, like Russia has, that you have a vaccine, untested, skipped safety measures, dropped the middle phase out of the 3. How licensing of music is to the venue. Thank you, Laura Nami, I appreciate that. But it's a public event using the president is the only difference I would make. I think that's different than, let's say, a live concert. But anyways, so the obvious reason why Trump wants to do this is because he wants to squeeze the polls, which he knows are real. Don't believe a single thing that he says about him. He has his own polls that show him winning. None of that is true.
No.
He's a mess when he comes out and does his last all week this week, with the exception when he was talking to cops yesterday, when he kind of went back to his old New York self, just kind of like feeling like a boss and talking about Long Island. It was like muscle memory for him. But the rest of the week, he has been reading like a deflating tire with no energy and completely miserable. Because even Brad Parscale cannot hide the poll numbers that he's looking at. He is 8 to 11 points behind nationally. And he is starting to lose states across the board that Biden shouldn't even have a shot at. And there is a margin of error favoring Biden in these states. 2-3 points now. And with the addition of Kamala Harris, who, by the way, is a fantastic ad. I called from the very beginning. I believe personally she was always the choice. That's one of the reasons she dropped out so early. Because they looked at
that.
Yeah. No, here, you want to hear my take on it? This is my full take. You don't have to believe a word of it. It was always going to be Biden-Harris. They knew that as far as black people voting, that they were leaning in his direction. They knew that Sanders had a ceiling of 30%, that if they didn't marshal the rest of the party, somebody who had a ceiling of 30% in the party would be the standard bearer, and because it was spread over so many people, which meant 70% of the people weren't for him, but you would have the guy on the low end running away with it. So the strategy was anybody who was not going to clear 5 points needs to drop out and get behind the standard bearer, because the party's not going to be run by an independent who's using it like a carpetbagger. That was the strategy. And if you have a problem with this, then go form your own party and watch how hard it is to maintain one for decades, if not centuries. The the Democratic folks were talking about, okay, who'd be the best one? Who's going to get the most votes? Who's going to appeal to the base that we care about, specifically black women and black voters, and the people like myself who aren't in that category, but care that their voice is heard and guaranteed to be part of the conversation, which, by the way, makes up the majority of not just the Democratic Party, but the country. Black women are 6% of the populace. 6%. They are the voice of a big swath of the Democratic Party, not because of the volume or the outsized size of their presence in the party, but because the vast majority of Democrats support and respect their voice. If they didn't, no 6% of a party would have outsized control without the rest of the people in the party saying, I'm not one of them, but I believe they should be heard. That's when you've got Pete Buttigieg and the others starting to drop out. I'm not one of them, but their voice needs to be heard. And they're about to get swamped by the person that they're not for because of the outsized layer of this. So this is, again, you don't have to take what I'm saying seriously at all, but this is my take on it. Kamala Harris was always going to be the VP. She always tested the highest with a Biden-Harris ticket from day one. The minute he announced that was who people were talking about. It was always going to be that. Other people ran. They were legitimate runs, but once it got obvious that they weren't going to clear 3% or 5%, they dumped out and got behind the standard bearer for the party itself because they need to beat Donald Trump. Because this whole two legs in the same pair of pants nonsense is why we have children in cages. And so it was always going to be Kamala Harris. It was always going to be Biden in many ways once they recognized, the polling said 70-30 and that Sanders had a 30%. There was largely the conversation about Harris was to eliminate this idea that Warren would be the other choice for vice president, and the pushback against that would come from other parties, not just the majority 70%, but also the fact that Warren needs to retain her seat because her seat in the Senate was held by a Republican last time. Kamala Harris's was not. All of the ones that are blue state, and I turned to purple state blue, or like the Amy Klobuchar waivers, if it wavers at all, those are not safe Senate seats. Those people need to stay where they are. So only the ones that are a safe pick were going to even be considered in that regard. It was always Harris-Biden. It's going to be Harris-Biden. They're going to win. Period. End of story. And if you don't like that there was Machiavellian planning that goes back almost a year to strategically make that happen, then who do you think you need running your country? You don't think that kind of thinking, forethought, and planning is necessary to actually, you don't think there are threats bigger than Donald Trump outside in the rest of the world? There are. And you need people who go, all right, we're going to need a 6-month, 8-month, 10-month strategy. This is the kind of planning that gives you a pandemic response team. This is the kind of planning that gives you the COPS program that Obama-Biden put in place. Because they could see a problem 8-10 years down the road that the country needs to be prepared for. Not, I'm mad today and I'll tweet about it and then it'll be gone tomorrow and I forget the problem from a week ago. That's it. And it wasn't all to stop Bernie. It was to recognize the fact that Bernie had a 30% ceiling. They didn't have to stop him. They just had to represent the 70%. Democracy. That's just the reality. And they knew they were going to lose a ton of voters who didn't support him, especially in the black community. That's just real. And my problem with him has always been it's not his policies and they can't be incorporated in. I'm glad he caucuses with the Democrats. I'm fine with that. But he didn't stay a Democrat when he ran last time. He could have stayed in and championed this stuff the entire time and been one, but he didn't. He backed out, ran as an independent again, and just uses it as, as a vehicle. And he used it as a super
Machiavellian, if you will.
Yes, exactly. In a Machiavellian way. He was using it as a politician. Be an independent so you can stay elected in Vermont, but don't join the Democratic Party. That, you know, if you don't like the strategy that the DNC put together, then you must not be a fan of the strategy that Bernie uses to get a legitimate run using the Democratic Party as a super PAC to run, which is effectively what it is. This is a lot. And the unity agreement that came out of it was Biden's idea, not Sanders. Those voters were going to move. They were already moving. And we have a solid ticket. And if you need to be inspired, if you don't feel inspired to vote for Biden-Harris, then you're not paying attention to what Donald Trump is doing to the post office, much less the military and the VA and the roads and the future of the country and the 206,000 dead Americans, which is the real number. We'll be back. Yeah, I mean, I can't, you know, it's just madness. I got to fix my fan situation on this guy. So let's take this guy, pull that out of here, take this thing here, and then run this into where? Where would this, do I have another, I need an extension. Does that go into there? No, that didn't plug in. Where would that, let's see. I see, that'll work. Okay, sorry, I'm digging around under my desk. Hi everybody, how are you? My computer is cooking because I'm pretty sure that my girlfriend's son, in trying to help, unplugged something and made it so that the new hotness is my computer. And so now I get to crawl around under my desk and blindly plug something into a USB port that is that working? No? Did it plug in? That go into there. This goes into here. That go into there. Does this go into here? Does that go into this? Does this come into here? I got a lot of gazintas going on right now. There's a whole lot of gazinta going on. I know. Oh, I'm a genius. If I can do this in the time it takes to go under here and put this up here and throw this and unplug this thing and move this over here, and then I got 3 seconds. 3, 2, 1. This is gonna do the thing, and then we put this into here, and then we'll plug in the thing. And hi everybody, how are you? Behind the scenes. Ah, there we go. The fan's back up. Thank God.
Hey.
Hooray! Oh, okay, I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm very fine.
I'm Dick Kay from Back on the Beat, and here is the Mega Worldwide Radio Program with Hal Sparks.
Paul's got it down, man. Paul's got it down. He did. He's a quick study. By the way, thank you so much for being with us today, Paul, and filling in for Devin. Devin, if you're listening out there, send our love. If you're not, because you're just like, well, I'm quarantined, I'm waiting out to see if I've got this, and you're stressing, and you just decided to eat popcorn and Hulu and chill, that's up to you. But we love you, and we want to send our love out from the station. And by the way, while we're at it, Lady B, if you're out there listening, we love you too. We sorely miss you as well. We're lucky to have Paul, and Paul, we're glad to have you here, but we haven't talked to Lady B in a little bit, so we're sending some love out to her. And your favorite Greg. Johnny, were you around for Greg's tenure on the show? I don't know. You might have been at the tail end. Greg was our original producer when I first came on.
Yeah, when I started, it was Dennis.
Oh yeah, this predates Dennis, and it was lovely. Just he's an expert on the Beatles. He looks like they could base a Muppet on him. I love Greg, and on Twitter. He's your favorite Greg. So everybody, if you feel like sending him some love, he was our original, producer engineer on CPT. We've had a long history here. You look up after a while, and you're like, oh, we've been doing this for almost a decade. Mm-hmm. Pretty lovely. So we have, and Paul, I don't know if we have callers, so just let me know. But in this process, and
we have callers.
Oh well, boy. Well then, who do we have first? Let me grab. I got time probably for one or maybe two, depending on the speed of them, before we have to take our half-hour break. So who do we have, Paul?
Let's go with Ike from Charleston.
Ike is with us. Fantastic. Ike, how are you, sir?
Hey,
our beloved Ike.
How you doing?
Hey, I'm good. How are you? How you holding up?
Hanging in there. I'm trying to close Twitch.
You're trying to what?
There we go. I got it.
There you go. All right.
I was sitting here messing. I was messing around trying to find this Twitch or Twitter or whatever the hell.
Oh yeah, that's right. Twitch.tv/HalSparks. Yep. Excellent.
Yeah, I just found it. I just got signed up. I just sent a message. Yada yada yada.
Oh, I love that.
As usual, you're teaching an old dog. You're teaching an old dog new tricks all the damn time. I'm getting pretty tired of it, but that's okay. Meanwhile, I sit here and fatten the curve and stay out of the way of COVID. And I've got a beard that weighs about 20 pounds. I've got two extended family members on. One niece and one cousin on ventilators, so I know it's nothing to play with.
Yeah.
The thing I was really calling, let me give you some useful ideas.
Okay.
What I'm going to do when I go to vote, it's a mail-in vote. What I'm going to do when I go to vote, which I can, so I know not everybody can do this.
Yep.
But I'm going to take it and fill it out. I'm going to take it to UPS. I'm going to notarize it and a copy of my driver's license. And then I was thinking about hand delivering it, but I'm hearing that they're already getting ready to challenge ballots that have no postmark on them. So I've got two choices here. I can either drop it off by hand and take a chance that they'll challenge, or I know you shouldn't have to, but I'm thinking about having UPS deliver it, return receipt required. In other words, take the responsibility off the normal postal route. Go with FedEx or go with UPS and have them deliver it.
Well, that's DeJoy has stock in UPS, so it will get there on time because he's trying to. His goal and what he was really put there to do from a conservative standpoint is privatize the postal service. Get rid of it as a national service and privatize it completely. He owns stock. This is the other thing too. Yeah, he owns stock. I'll talk about this after. Just say what you're going to say, and I'll talk about this after the break because I was getting to this anyways. But yeah.
Well, I was going to say real quick. I am. I'll try to get it done quick and get out of the way. But he got a wake up call this morning in D.C. They're protesting at his house, his condo there. But the other thing, I talked to my mail carrier here. I live right around the corner from a distribution center. They're pulling the machines out of there, and not only are they pulling them out, but they're destroying them. So basically, I've made phone calls to my representatives and some Republicans and what have you, and I'm telling them that as far as I'm concerned, this is basically obstruction. This is destruction of taxpayer-funded property.
Right.
Some of these machines were only 2 years old. They work just fine.
Right.
Actually, if you take it down to its logical conclusion, it appears to be treason and a coordinated effort, which would bring it underneath RICO. But either way, we've got them calling. One senator's calling for him to come back in from vacation. And I think I called Clyburn's office and Nancy's office, and I said, look, y'all need to get back there and do whatever's got to be done, whether it be done with lawyers, guns, or money. And we need to put a stop to this right now. And by the way, those machines need to be returned or put back in place or replaced or whatever's got to be done needs to be done. And if it comes down to it, here's a question. Can a governor call out the National Guard and have them handle the mail?
Yes, technically speaking. They can act as delivery people, and they can be registered mail carriers. They can do a lot of stuff because they can legally provide transport in emergencies, and that's what it would fall under. So they absolutely could. And it may come to that.
Hey,
yes.
It's another idea. Call your governor's office. Ask them what they're doing to stop this.
That's right.
And if they're not going to stop it, let's take over, send the National Guard in there to protect those machines and to take over those post offices if it comes down to it.
Right. Absolutely. I appreciate the call.
I'm just trying to come up with anything that works, brother. Yep.
Absolutely.
I appreciate
we have a lot of
hang in there.
You too. And I will need to see a posted picture of your beard, or at least use an icon that references it. Some sort of Rip Van Winkle look I'm picturing in my head right now. But I'm glad to hear from you. I'm glad you're healthy and well, and you pass through my thoughts regularly, my friend, to make sure you're all right. It's good to know. We'll be back right after this, and I'll tell you why. Not only is Louis DeJoy a criminal in the worthy of national history and the undermining of our country in its basic function for a foreign adversary and a domestic enemy, but also good old run-of-the-mill insider trading. We'll be back. All right, so the video's getting smoother as my computer cools down because I turned one fan back on. Now the trick is... I can't hear the
callers, so I'm just muting
myself.
You
can't? I beg your pardon.
No.
I will... That's weird. Could you hear Paul in the music?
No, I'm not hearing any Chicago.
Why didn't you tell me that?
I thought I did, but maybe I didn't.
You didn't tell me. I thought it was... I asked you with the check and the whole checkity check, and you did bloody nothing. I don't get it.
I did say checkity check.
But you can't... Oh, yeah. All right. Look at my arm is see-through. That's fascinating. In there. All right. Now both of my fans on my computer are running. So... Hey, Nat.
I have to poop. I'll be right back.
Thanks for the info. Thanks. Maybe next time keep a journal. Is it Mr. Cornfield? That's it. You're supposed to say, "Excuse me, I have to hit the cornfield." That's
okay. Next.
That's your code. Okay, cool. I'm timing it. My watch is in the other room. We need a counter on the screen. Hold on. Is that available in Streamlabs? Do I dare mess with it? Let's see. Chat box. Do I empty the jar? Did that work? Okay. I think there we go. I don't think my alert box was up. Yeah, paying the water bill, that's the one. Because I don't have my normal and the tip jar isn't on there. This is terrible. I have not done my homework, kids. I apologize. There we go. Throw that there, and then we'll add stuff like that so I can see that the lovely things that you guys are doing. Because I have the thing up at the top of the screen. How am I running a fan club? Yeah. Joining a fan club with my friends. Filling my bathtub with T-shirts and 8x10s. Beautiful dreamer, I'm in love with a star. 'Cause I'm picking up a falling star. Oh, I love Jellyfish. I did not say start a music club. Well, I mean, joining a fan club is one of my, and Best Friend, I think, is my, favorite Jellyfish songs.
Now let's get back with Hal Sparks' radio program, Mega Worldwide.
So, Paul, I know that we have other callers. Who do we have, perhaps, that you could tell me about in the caller realm?
Ooh, let's go to Harrison from right here in Chicago.
Oh, excellent. Hey, Harrison.
Hey, hi, Hal. Hi, I'm a long-time listener, first-time caller. I have found great joy lately during this kind of quarantine in trolling libertarians and baiting them, trolling Second Amendment people and baiting them, but now recently you. I'm loving it because what I found out is that the IRS worked with Bitcoin through blockchain to uncover a real sex trafficking ring, a real one. They did it in real life, really. And, I say to them,
which they do.
Isn't the IRS deep state? And I'm like, Q doesn't do anything but drive people mad to go to pizza, and shoot guns. It's so scary now.
Yeah. I think it's found.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just saying the QAnon stuff is. I find when I look at a lot of it, what I'm always struck by is the profound loneliness of it, beyond the whole kind of like, almost like the prurient interest in it that some of them have mixed with some of the people who are like, believe that they're. It's like all the fans that used to watch Lost, and which was an aptly named show for this particular group of people that always thought it was going to be they'll figure it out. They always thought, so there's a number on the wall, and the rocket ship had the same blue tip cone, and her dress is also lavender. Like the people who used to watch Lost, my ex-girlfriend used to watch it, and she and her girlfriends would watch it together as this, and they would talk about it. And every time I was like, I've done television shows, I've been in writers' rooms, I've been on a drama series. They don't know how this ends. They're not plotting out any of this stuff. They are just flooding the end zone with garbage, hoping it keeps you on the hook, watching toilet paper ads. And they have no ending in mind. They have not plotted this thing out. And so anyways, that's the same thing with Q. Like these folks are So go ahead.
The other thing about the the voting by mail, there are actual U.S. criminal code. They're committing crimes. There's obstruction of mail, and then there's another one about obstructing elections through the mail.
Interfering with the mail,
crime.
right.
I mean, these are real crimes. They kept begging us, where's the crime? These are real crimes.
Yes.
I think he should be impeached. They should ram through another impeachment right now. He would be the only, and sure, the Senate's going to let him off. It's going to, you're being political. I don't care. I don't care if it's political. I mean, it's a pipe dream that I'm talking about, but I mean, this is obviously impeachable. And the other thing is, I'm going to vote early in Chicago. I'm going to, put a mask on and everything and go in, because I believe unless it's an absolute, if it's clear by mid-evening California time that he has lost, and it doesn't matter how many more votes come in, it has to be so clear on election night that he's crushed. Otherwise,
it has to be a tsunami.
We're in deep trouble. Exactly. It has to be really crystal clear on election night, and I'm going to do everything I can to make that happen.
That's right. And
I love you.
Absolutely appreciate it. One of the ways that you can protect against these kind of things, especially for everybody, is if you're going to vote by mail, much like why we're taking precautions around not overloading the hospitals is one of the reasons why we're quarantining. Not so much that the volume of people who will ultimately die from this is so high, but the percentage that will get sick or die from it is so high that it will overwhelm the medical facilities that we have. The same precaution can be taken in mailing in your vote, which is make sure that when you get your mail-in vote, you do it as soon as possible. If you can, drop it off at a drop-off box, or you can drop it off at the state or county commissioner's office and make sure that it gets delivered there. Do that if you're concerned about the mail at all. But going out of your mailbox is the best way to do it, because interfering with that is a 10-year felony on either side of it. Taking it out of your mailbox, getting rid of it, any of that stuff. So your individual mail, these will never be argued with. It's anything in a bulk mail situation. They're going to push against any bundlers, any of that stuff. But one-to-one, if you get your ballot, I think in California, like the earliest is October 5th is when you can start voting in person. I have a mail-in ballot. I'm going to use it. But I can walk it in to a county commissioner's office, like one of these multiple sites that they have in Los Angeles, and drop it off. And it will get counted on Election Day. They don't, the only ones that have the 3 days later is the people who mail in their votes on Election Day at midnight, like it's your taxes. They're counting on that. They're counting on the Democrats especially waiting till the last second to vote by mail out of fear of COVID. But the reality is the right wing are going to be the ones who are like that. It's going to be the folks that are voting for Trump that will, have planned on voting in person because they want to vote for their president, but recognizing that cases are so high and polling places are so low because there's no volunteers, that voting by mail is their best chance of getting their vote counted, and they're going to wait till the last second. Mail it as soon as you get it. Vote, especially if your mind is made up, like so many people's, just, how you're voting. Do all your due diligence on your judges, your senator, all those other folks. But it is a federal election. The standards are way higher than Paterson, New Jersey's city council election, which is garbage. It is not the standard by which we do federal elections. And as soon as you get it, vote. Get it out of the way. Keep your sticker dry until Election Day if you want to. But send it out immediately. You will not overwhelm the mail system. There will still be enough function in the mail system, no matter how many machines they try to destroy. And during this time, over the next little bit, while people are waiting to get their ballots and waiting to get when they're doing mail-in, we all need to push back against Louis DeJoy and make him famous for being the Benedict Arnold of our time. I appreciate the call. Now, before I get up to the next break, I want to explain what I was telling you about with Louis DeJoy and the fact that, yes, absolutely, Louis DeJoy is I'm typing into the wrong computer. Louis DeJoy is absolutely a chaos agent for the Trump administration's desire to slow the voter rolls going into the election. No question. He's a bundler for Trump who helps him raise money. He got a cush job as the postmaster general, but the reason he was given it was because he has $30 million in stock in, and I want to get the company precisely right, in XPO Logistics. Now, who is XPO Logistics? XPO Logistics is not another UPS or FedEx. They are a private mail sorting firm that gets outsourced mail from the post office. When Christmas comes around and the post office processes 1 billion Christmas cards that get sent out worldwide from the United States, there's no reason for them to run at the level that they run during Christmas the rest of the year. It makes no sense. The amount of employees, it's just like stores who hire seasonal workers, right? So the post office outsources some of that extra workload to private companies during certain parts of the year. They also do it during election seasons. Now, there's going to be whenever there's a rise in mail-in ballots and voting, as there is expected to be, the chances of the post office outsourcing some of that to the actual, to companies like XPO Logistics is far higher. Because there will be, almost like a Christmas of ballots this year, as far as the volume of people. It's not going to go up like everybody's talking about. It's not going to be 60% of the votes cast or anything even close. Because a lot of people are going to vote in person by hook or by crook between now and the election itself. A lot of people are going to be going to these early voting polling places, which, by the way, are mostly blue states, mostly places where they honor the vote more than the red states do, and where mail-in voting isn't kind of the standard, like Utah or Colorado, for example. They're going to be prepared for the early vote this time more often because it'll be in federal and state buildings and the like. But XPO Logistics makes more money whenever the U.S. Postal Service cannot handle the volume of mail that is going through it. Hear me now. This, beyond the vote itself, there is every reason in the world for Louis DeJoy, as a $30 million stakeholder in XPO Logistics, for him to hamstring the U.S. Postal Service going into the Christmas card season. You hear what I'm saying? Beyond the politics of him helping Trump get reelected, even if Trump loses, if he can do damage to the Postal Service between now and November, which is, by the way, also when Christmas cards and stuff start going out, he can raise his stake in XPO Logistics exponentially. He could, his $30 million in stock, because of the outsized need for companies like XPO Logistics this fall, because the normal machinery of the U.S. Postal Service gets destroyed, what choice do they have but to use the subcontractors? This is the trick. This is beyond any of the voter shenanigans that he is absolutely participating in. And it is probably 100% why Donald John Trump thinks he's doing this for him. He thinks that his lackey in the Postal Service is throwing the election for him and doing what he put him in the job to do. But beyond that, Louis DeJoy is lining his own pockets by guaranteeing that his $30 million stake in XPO Logistics is worth $90 million by December 25th. At which point, he could sell $60 million when it goes back down to 30 and invest it in whatever he wants and make money hand over fist. Louis DeJoy is not only using Donald Trump's anti-democratic chaos agent, anti-Western democracy, taking orders from Putin methodology. He is also a run-of-the-mill fat cat padding his pockets by subverting the normal functions of our government. We got to take a break. I ran over the break that time. But yes, that's what was my point was, Jillian, in New York City. This is insider trading, where this guy can not only know what the government is going to be doing as far as purchasing or not purchasing and affect his stock prices by putting a put on something or buying stock in something like a pharmaceutical or Kodak when stuff is going through. This is sabotage to guarantee he will be making more money. This is criminal activity. And the Democrats, listen to the sound of my voice. If you're in the Judiciary Committee or you're in in any of the oversight committees that deal with any of this, from the mail system itself to defrauding the government to criminal procedures in government contracting, bring this guy in on those charges. Make that 80% of what you're talking about. Take the ammo away from Trump. You will undermine his ability to do this. But go after Louis DeJoy for insider trading and trying to undermine the Postal Service so that his investment in XPO Logistics goes up. And while you're at it, drop the contract with XPO Logistics. Make it impossible for XPO Logistics to operate as a subsidiary or as an outsourced company with the post office until or at what time this becomes, he leaves or divests himself. That's my advice. We'll be back. Yeah, that part of it, Christ almighty. It is sometimes, some of this stuff, it can be a little murky at times, but this kind of stuff is so friggin' obvious.
Yeah.
Yeah. $30 million in the Postal Service contractor XPO. That contractor is a supply chain logistics company that is directly involved in the Postal Service's processing of the mail. If you undermine the ability for the post office to process that mail, i.e. destroying the machinery that would do it, then they have no choice but to outsource it to companies like XPO Logistics, and this dude makes money. It is just run of the mill. They're not going to break up the USPS. They can't do it. It would take an amendment. They have to amend the Constitution. They're trying to starve the beast in some ways. But yes, he is committing a federal crime right now. And I guarantee that the communications between him and the White House about this stuff, or his orders to do it and their reasoning to do it, will not match up with the reality, and this asshole could go to jail. Nancy, they're not allowing it, they're promoting it. And yes, this is a RICO thing. Yeah, LaJoy is a run-of-the-mill Wall Street crook. Thanks, Francie. Summer got me this. I drink out of a giant mason jar. It was actually a vase. I got her some flowers, and it came in this wide mouth mason jar. It's my favorite one. And I got a big mouth, so I like wide mouth glasses. And she went out, and this was the only one she could find that had an opening the same size as that. So she brought it home. APWU and the NALC will fight to get him in jail, Hal. You're goddamn right, Megan.
Welcome back to the Hal Sparks radio program, Mega Worldwide. Now time for the happy ending. Yay!
Yay! We love you, Devin. Stay safe and heal up, and our thoughts go out to your family member who tested positive.
Quit your whining.
What? What is wrong with you? What's the matter with you?
I'm just saying the opposite of what we actually think.
What's wrong with you? What's the matter with you? No, I don't feel good. Joe versus the volcano, anyone? No, all right.
I love Joe versus the volcano.
I absolutely do. So, and by the way, Johnny Million, I want to thank you for burping on the show today.
They're not allowed to be offensive, unfortunately.
And
I didn't do it over the air, did I? It was just for the
No, it was just for the chat room. So as part of the happy ending, and we got probably time for one more caller before we...
Johnny's gonna burp.
Yeah, I'm just prepping everyone. By the way, did you take weights and measurements, or we just have to go by how much time it took you? Anyway, so to go to the cornfield. Over the course, I want to say this, by the way, as part of the happy ending. While I am indeed in YouTube jail currently, it has made it all the more important and all the more appreciative of the fact that we have as many Patreon supporters as we do. Thank you guys so much during this rough patch. It is nice to have you as consistent supporters of the show. We're still trying to reach the 500 number, but the number has grown. I think we're at 337 now, the last time I checked. That's part of the happy ending, is the amount of support that's happened for the show over this time. And why my concern for people who get undercut during this time where I've had to shift all my stuff to, from the, live performance world as a touring stand-up, which was my bread and butter. It's how I feed my kid, We have 332. That's awesome. Thank you guys so much. And we're still trying to hit that 500 number. So go to patreon.com/HalSparks if you want to support the show. It's a little monthly thing. Price of a cup of coffee. You can support it with more if you want to, but you don't have to. Whatever you can do, if anything at all. And if you can't, just come and listen to us. We'll continue to talk and fight the good fight every week. That's the happy ending part, is that I'm not putting any of this show behind a paywall like some people do. Well, they'll take the whole show and put it on Patreon behind a wall. I'm not doing it. So thank you to the Patreon supporters for supporting also everyone else who listens to the show, because that's what makes you guys extraordinary. And then also Twitch is now our home currently for the live stream, twitch.tv/HalSparks. I know you can watch on Facebook and you can watch on Periscope, but the way that helps us the most is over on Twitch, and I want to thank them for giving us all the extra love lately. They sent me a free T-shirt. Can you see it, Johnny? Apparently, because we moved over from YouTube, my numbers went through the roof, and they were like, well, this guy's an up-and-comer. I'm like, well, yeah. And I'm just saying, YouTube never sent me a T-shirt. They never did. Not a one. But yeah, but Streamlabs and Twitch sent me one. They're like, please, game. Let's see. We got about 4 minutes left. Let me grab one more caller. Who do we have, Paul?
Let's go with John from Hammond.
Excellent. John. Wait a minute. John from Hammond? Not John Hammond from Jurassic Park. I'm sorry.
No. John from Hammond, Indiana. How you doing?
Okay, good. All right, I'm good. John, go ahead.
Yeah, I think Joe made a mistake personally in picking up Kamala Harris, and I'll tell you why. Hillary Clinton picked a second-tier politician. Was it Kaine or Keene? Remember that guy from Virginia, Senator?
Tim Kaine, yes.
Tim Kaine, right. She could have picked Bernie Sanders. That would have gotten all the really hardcore progressives on her bandwagon. I voted for Hillary. I'm going to vote for Joe. But he made the same mistake. He could have picked a first-tier leader like Nancy Pelosi or Chuck Schumer or Bernie or Elizabeth Warren. He could have picked somebody. So he takes this, and here's the point I'm making.
Well, no, Kamala, hold on. Let me interrupt you in that one point. When I hear where you're coming from to some degree. There are other considerations, again, on Elizabeth Warren, why she can't be considered, because she is not in what we would call a safe senatorial seat. And if we're trying to take back the Senate, which is strategy, it wouldn't be her. Bernie Sanders would not accept the vice presidential nomination from Joe Biden and would probably lose a good deal of followers in doing it and undermine his future plans, if he has any at all, post whatever electoral thing it is. And he's not a direct Democrat. That was part of the problem they ran into. I would argue that Kamala Harris, as a senator, which is a fairly common thing to add to a ticket. Most vice presidents have been senators, I think, in volume over time. But as a black woman, as the AG of California, especially when you've got a bunch of criminals running amok, as the person who shut down Kavanaugh in a bunch of ways, who shut down Barr in these hearings, as much as they were controlled by the Republicans, Kamala Harris pulled back control in those situations. She's definitely a rising star within it. If we used your standard, Obama wouldn't have been president for 8 years. So, but go ahead.
I hear you, but let's just face it. She was in a competitive race. We all voted in the primaries. She got diddly squat. The point I'm making here, Hal, is that it's just...
She was within 2% of what Warren got. She just left earlier.
But at the end, she dropped out early. Okay, all right, I'll grant you that. But the point is, it's just as wrong to pick somebody based on race and gender as it is to not pick somebody based on race and gender. We should be. I don't think she was
based. I understand that, but I don't think. Here's the problem. The issue is not whether or not you have a meritocracy that's based on a skill set, and then the racial aspect of it is non-existent. She does win on the meritocracy level, and she's also black, and so you have multiple people who on merits would serve great in that position. the other aspect of groups of people who have never been represented in the government, because we're a democracy, because we're not a racially homogenous country like India or like England in that regard, it matters in this country in a way that it doesn't in others. She meets the standards on her own, regardless of her race or gender. These are pluses. These are representative pluses. This doesn't deny anybody else's their shot. These are additions to her qualifications. They're pluses. So I appreciate the call, and I understand where you're coming from. It was never going to be Bernie. It's not going to be Bernie. And people need to be inspired because of what's going to actually get put through in terms of policy. Thanks so much for the call. Paul, thank you for filling in today. Devin, we love you. Thank you, CPT. Thank you guys for listening. Thanks, Johnny Million, for being with us. At JMillion on Twitter. Follow him and enjoy all the guitar pictures. And we'll see you guys next week. Everybody else, you know where to find me. Go to halsparks.com. Links abound. All right. Phew.
All right, it was a lot of fun, Hal. Hope it went smooth for you.
Yeah, it did, Paul. You were great. Thanks, man. I appreciate it, and thanks for filling in. And we'll see you next week. I guess you're going to be with us. So
yeah, most likely. Yeah. I'll see you next week.
Okay. Absolutely. Take care, brother.
Great.
Thanks. So I'll sign off on him. Close the.
All right, I got to bail.
I know you got to go see a man about a mule, and then take that mule for a run in the cornfields.
All right.
I'm not.
All right, I like the Zoom thing. I think it's good.
I think so too. As long as I have the fans going on my computer, so it doesn't freak out and get all twitchy, it seems to work much better. All right, I adore you. Be
Love
well.
You,
have a great week. Okay.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. See you later. Now it's just me, just the two of us. We can make a different time. Just the two of us, you and I. Hi. All right, now we can. Now it's just us dangling and hanging around and all that kind of stuff, and hello chat room and good people and what's happening and hi, and it's almost feel like we should start like from scratch. I get so used to like get back to
tell them what time it is.
Like it's our own. Okay, and hey, how's everybody doing? Welcome to the show. Round 2. Twitch does library streams. You can go back and watch them again, just like everything else. Also, Restream just added a feature where, and I can't stop lying, I need to talk to you about this because it just happened, where you can download from their site the show as we put it out to the rest of the world and all that kind of stuff on our end, so we can post it in other places and cut it up and all that kind of stuff and make it available where it may not be able to. So I may be able to download it straight from there and just simply post it on the YouTube channel for those that are stuck over there. As much as I love having you guys over here, we got a good crowd going on in Twitch right now, and it really helps out to have that kind of a number, especially as we're trying to grow. Because holy smokes, you guys are amazing. What do we have? What's the number in Twitch right now? I can't see it right now. Yeah, 227 people in the Twitch right now. God love you. Thanks, guys. Like, did I just fall into Biden? God love you. God love you. Ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, that's a good solid number. 234. Look at that. And this is I'm just seeing it on the inside of my the viewer thing. So, the party is at Twitch TV. It does take some time to learn. I'm still learning it. I don't know when I'm going to get out of YouTube jail. That's the thing. The standards by which they can kick you out are so arbitrary that the problem I have with it is, let's say I get out of jail, what's the impetus for me to continue to grow it if it can just happen again? And yes, the Facebook thing is great, that there are 394 people and there's like 1,000 people viewing it overall. I can see on the YouTube or on the Facebook side, that's just the number of people in the chat itself. On my end, I can actually see that there's actually a couple of thousand people watching, which is pretty cool. That said, it's not monetized at all or whatever, so it doesn't help the channel grow or any of that kind of stuff. So Do I like the new house? I'm not there yet, Gonzo. We're still over here. This all just happened. My whole life is in a blender right now when I'm not on with you guys. This is the calmest part of my day, is doing the show and being with you guys. I have to say, because as soon as it like stops, I'm like, everything is in box and the world is box. So yeah, and if you're just starting on the Twitch thing, that's a lot of people are streaming at Twitch just because it's more consistent in that regard and has a lot of stuff. If you leave YouTube jail, can you still vote? Yes, I get my felon rights back. But I may start just posting. It won't be live at YouTube, but people could watch it there later, that kind of stuff. So we'll see if that ends up being. Make sure Prime Gaming is active in your Amazon. Yes, that's also how you can get a free subscription, and that helps the show. It's like becoming a first-tier Patreon supporter for free, if you think about it that way. If you use Amazon, and who doesn't? But anyways, I know this is a weird transition, and I appreciate you guys making it with me, and I'm glad. I mean, I'm kind of lucky that I'm a maniac, or I wouldn't have had these other ways to put the show out, and once it went away, I would have been completely shut down. So yeah, I may also be able to stream the show into the Discord. That's taking some doing. So I dicked around with that for a couple of days straight. I just don't trust it yet. Twitch is fun. More raffles. That's a great idea. I love that idea. I always forget because it's time in between where I ended up doing the raffles from, which the thing is the but yeah, is it in this thing? Where is it? Yeah. So I don't do that. My hair is so fluffy today. It's very fluffy. It looks like it. Yeah. Like a beetle. Oh, GB, hi. Thanks for cheering the bits. 30 days in the YouTube hole. All right, thanks. Yeah. We love a raffle on a prize. I love doing the raffle on a prize. It's so much time in between it, in betwixt. Oops, I froze. Did it freeze? Looks like it froze in the live dashboard. Okay, it's there. Oh, maybe I paused it. Okay, good. Phew. So crazy. Let's see. Stream level and crime sponsor and big goal. Spend 10 to bump. Tiffany donations, send it go. Do it then and how we do it. I'll figure it out. I always figure it out. Content. Nope. Community. Channel points. Activity. Roles managed. Files list. Jobs. Preferences. Extensions. Creator cam. Son of a bitch. Why do I always forget how to do it each time? I gotta have a checklist for how to load this thing. Crazy. Gotta push my hair back. There you go. Break out the flow beat. No, I gotta cut the top so that we maintain the gloriousness. And like I said, my headphones lifted up in the back, so I've got Superman hairdo. Oh, thanks, Miss Pam Doll. Hey, Miss Pam Doll's got in. That's great. Awesome. I'll figure all this stuff out. Don't you worry. We're going to get this. I'm going to have it'll take me a while. YouTube had the same thing where I was like, I had to figure out all these steps and talk to people about how to super chat and all that kind of nonsense. We have raffles. I just have to figure out how to do it. Again, like I said, I forgot how to do it. Now I got to remember where the link is in here. Do you start it in here? I can't remember if I started on Streamlabs or if I started on, where did we do it? I did it within the Stream Manager last time. Settings, was it in here? No. I gotta put it, I'll figure it out. Wasn't drops, streaming tools, extensions. There's so many menus. They just go on forever. Activity, are we doing this here? No. Followers list, how do we do, okay. Channel points, is that in there? No. This is so silly. I know it's an easy button and I just keep forgetting where it is. I'll figure it out. Anybody who remembers where the raffle thing is, let me know. Because I did it last time. It was really cool. I mean, if I, Twitch Raffle House, right. I think that having empathy labels as an extreme, I think that having empathy labels you as an extreme leftist. Yeah, I think people will think of it that way, but only because extreme leftists have made it as if people who are more moderate in their views or want whatever changes they make to stick for a long time, which is the crucial thing. It's the big difference. A lot of people can make change, but can you make the change stick? Can you make it stay? That's my concern. I don't give a shit what you can change. If it goes away tomorrow, it's like why the executive orders are a problem. Whenever anybody does them. You want the law. How you need to wear a bandana like the boys in Steel Panther. Yeah, I've said before, and I don't know where it went, but I had like a super thin, like the, this won't work. I was like, that'll where I can do it. Hold on, let me find something for you. I'll show you what I mean. But there's like some of these old, that's a costume for Sexy Liberal that I'm working on. There's this, everything's packed up. God damn it. I can't do it right now. But I had like a little, remember back on like, I have Star Trek villain hair from the original show. So they always had really thin hair bands on their things. Like, it is our great leader who does not allow people to enter the sky. You know what I mean? They always had these super thin ones. That's what I loved about them. It looks like they're all wearing a power cable on their head. Yeah, exactly. Con! This was it. It's so hippie. It's basically like a shoestring. I can't afford a bandana, bro. Moving sucks even for a talented polymath like Hal Sparks. Thank you, Amy, just for using polymath in its proper setting. Yes, Hal, wear that. Need more kitty floofs? We don't have any kittens right now. We adopted them all out. We missed them. We missed them. Con. So yeah, let me continue to figure out. We'll do a raffle today. If you're at Twitch, you can take part in it. You can't do it on Facebook and Periscope. That's the part that bums everybody out. But I will figure out how the streaming tools. No, that's not it. Son of a chaka for god darn. Somebody in here knows where it is, where the button is. Yeah, friggin' Facebook, you ba-ba-de-ba. I don't pick the ticket. That's the nice thing about these is that people can't get mad at me because it does it digitally. Thank God. Otherwise, you guys would hate me. Be like, you play favorites. What's wrong with you? I have to, Jesus Christ. On Path to Partner, I've still got to average 75 viewers. 3 requirements in the same 30-day period. So it takes me 30 days to meet partner over the next little thing. Okay, stream manager. I don't know. Son of a dog doodle, what the hell is going on here? Hal, maybe the Democratic Convention will be held on Twitch next week. I don't doubt that they'll also stream it there. I think it's a great idea. John Mahoney subscribing with Prime. Thank you very much. Control Alt Delmar. If he plays favorites and I have not won, what does that mean? Exactly. You would have won by now if I had played favorites. For darn. How do we start some type of thing to do a raffle on the Scooby-Doo? Open up help from Twitch. Find out how to do the raffle.
Portals, motorheads, geeks, sluts, bloods, wastoids, dweebies, dickheads.
I can't type at the same time.
They all adore him. They think he's a righteous dude.
I typed in the wrong thing. I typed on the wrong keyboard. Articles. No. Oh, that's on Twitch. Okay, so it's on Streamlabs then. Raffle. I'm already in there. Don't tell me how to join. I know how to do it. I'm already in there. Search Streamlabs. I'm doing it. Search raffle. I say, what's going on? Dashboard. Well, maybe that was it. There we go. Search around there. I don't know. Best stream overlays for Twitch, Facebook. That's why are you switch? Oh, it's. I'm fine. I'm fine. Community giveaways. Thank you, Ninka Crinkles. Bless your heart. Community. There's nothing there that says giveaways on the Twitch Streamlab, on the Stream Manager. It's not there. Under Community, it says Roles Manager, Activity, Followers List, Channels, Channel Points. That's it. I don't know why it's not there. Because I think I get used to it being there, and then maybe I just lose my mind. Maybe it's in Streamlabs under Community? Perhaps? Merch. Twitch panels, people. Recent events. Because I did that. Giveaways. Is that under there? Okay. There we go. Let's see. Oh. Prize assigned. Pick a winner. Merch giveaway is limited to one winner. Okay. Okay, so complete that. There we go. Found it. Okay, so I just have to go back to there, and then I'm going to make a bookmark of this page. Okay, it's very exciting. So, let's see. It will be a merch thing. What should we do? I'll do a general t-shirt or something. Oh, well. No, this is a good one. I'm going to add one. Hold on. Add a giveaway. Merch. And I'm going to do... Now, there was a story on... Let's see. There was a story on the news about how people did not know... Let's see. Everyone. Let's see. Yeah, so this one, I think this is only available to subscribers. I'll just open it to everyone. You guys will be good. I trust you guys to eventually subscribe if you can. But there was this thing about whether or not the gaiters, the masks you just pull up, are better or not or they work for not spreading COVID, which of course, if it slows down your breath and slows down your spit, then of course it does. So I'm going to put forward one right now. Oh, I'm sorry. And it's called... Oh, quit it. I typed in the wrong thing. Mask Up is what it's going to be called. For a Zoltan mask. This is the first of its kind. I just put these on there. Start giveaway. And just so you know, these... hold on. These actually cost me money. You have to pay for these. The raffle, like I pay basically retail for these. So that's why most people only do them to subscribers, but we will do it anyways because it's fun and you guys have joined Twitch and it's a thing and it should just come up in there. A Zoltan mask raffle has started for viewers. Use raffle. Okay, and then we'll go up here to... Yeah, and I think you can only get one ticket for this one. Yeah. So yeah, and I can't do it, or I would show you what it is. But you can do exclamation point and the word raffle in the Twitch chat, and that'll do it. And you can, and then it does it. It'll do it for 5 minutes, and then I hit a button that says pick a winner, and it picks. So it is not me. I have no. And I had to pay retail for this mask. I don't even get like a deal because it's my store. It actually, I think it even cost me more. But it's nice that you guys are joining me, so there you go. Good luck and enjoy. And if you're over on Periscope or Facebook and you're like, what the hell? That's why you need to go to Twitch and join the channel there and sub and all that kind of stuff. Because when I game and all that kind of stuff and I do these kind of things, I'll only do them for subscribers because it doesn't make financial sense to spend all your subscriber money that you might make giving out free stuff because it just zeroes out and everything. So that's cool though. I'm glad it works. How do I try to win? You just exclamation point and raffle all together. Just no space. You'll see how people are writing in there. You have to write an exclamation point and then the word raffle together. I do miss super chats as well. Boy, do I miss super chats. It's aggravating. I think super chats can happen when you have a premiere. And if that is the case, what I'll do is, if anybody wants to do it that way and they just hate this, when I post the show, if I can take it down and I put it up on YouTube and it will just be up there like a video, a long form video. If I can do that, I'll do it as an automatic premiere and it'll start playing. And then if you want to go in there, you can super chat during a premiere. I think that's how it works. I know it's difficult, but I appreciate you guys helping. Yeah. So I don't make money off I think, did the tickets cost bits or something like that? I don't know. But anyways, you got 5 minutes. There you go. And thanks for following, and thanks for all that stuff, and thanks for figuring this out with me as we run along. And thanks, Can't Stop Lying, for helping behind the scenes with this as we both try to claw our way through this. So it's fun, and it's got some cute stuff. So it's a free mask. There is chat for that, Can't Stop Lying? Excellent. So that's what I think we should do, is that I'll grab the show. I can now grab it off of Restream in its entirety. So I'll pull it down off there so you don't have to do that step, and we'll just focus on clips that we can start putting up, and I'll just put that up on YouTube as a full upload, and then I'll put it as a premiere. If people want to help that way, they can. So hi, if you're watching this later, bless you. You can super chat right now and help this show, and then it'll show up on my thing, and I'll get a little thing like that'll tell me, and then it won't be when I'm on the air, obviously, but I'll be able to thank you guys later. I'm very confused, Hutch Billy, as well. But yeah, so this is a Zoltan mask that's part of the merch that I made, because somebody asked about that. It's a gator, though. It's one of the neck sleeves. So even after the pandemic, it's something you can wear when it's chilly outside. Full show is better than clips. Excellent, Jeff. I will do both. I'll put that up, and then, for the short attention span theater crowd, I'll do some clips. I've been pulling some clips. Have you seen Right Wing Shadowgate, RW Shadowgate YouTube show? I have not, but I will look at it, Donna. You just got me through 125 miles on a motorcycle. Excellent, Pagos Brian. Well, please take a break and walk around. I've ridden a long distance on a bike before, and it's no joke. Yeah, the super chat on YouTube can happen during premiere. So what I'm going to do is today's show, right when I'm done, I'll download it from Restream, and then as soon as it's done downloading, I'll upload it to YouTube as an instant premiere. So it'll start from scratch as if it's live, and it'll just be basically like the show happens after, like an hour after it ran, and people can super chat during that thing, and I'll hop in there and say hi when I can. But maybe that'll work. Either way, raffle is still rolling. 7 seconds left. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Dun, 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 dun. Entry is closed. Time to pick a winner. Dun, 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 dun. 3, I'm not looking. Click. And the winner is Kalink42. Look at that. Oh, a gator is one of those, is the neck sleeve. Like these, basically looks like a broken condom for your head, That's what a gator is. Yeah. This is a test. Can I chat now? Foreign Clear Art, you can. You are definitely chatting. Hello. So congratulations, Kalink42, on your neck, on your Zoltan neck covering / mask to wear out, so that you can be stylish while not catching COVID. If I can save your life, I will do my best. There's other merch available in the Streamlabs site and stuff. There's links below, I think, on the page if you're watching it that way. There's a bunch of that stuff. They're pretty great. I actually like the merch over here. I'm very picky about stuff, and I don't push merch very often because it looks like crap most of the time. The Teespring stuff is okay, but the stuff that's available on Streamlabs actually is decent when it arrives, which is much nicer. They even have some embroidered stuff. It's I'm sure I'm underselling the cost of it because I keep the profit margin extraordinarily low. But in the case of this, like, there's some really good stuff. So, yeah. Dun, 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 dun. A lot of Zoltan stuff. So, and then I have I don't have much with the blue symbol on it. I just have the jacket, which has 01 on the back of it, that has the blue symbol. If you want, I can make something through there. Yeah. I'll see if I can start adding, because I haven't added a ton of stuff to that, but if we're going to be regularly over here and all that stuff, yeah. Your Zoltan broken condom. That's exactly what it is. Your neck condom. The link, please, for the Streamlabs store is... Oh, I can't put it over there. It's basically halsparks.live/merch. That's what it is. Bink. Like I said, this is all new to me on a bunch of fronts. You know, I only follow a couple of people on here just to kind of figure out how this all works. So I'll go over to some other channels and that kind of stuff and try to add this. But we've added a crap ton of emotes largely because of you guys, which I greatly appreciate. And if you look down on Twitch in your, in the little chat feed, thanks, Cassie. There's a little, emoticon smiley face thing. If you scroll down in there, there's tons of ones that we've earned because of you guys, because of all the hype train stuff and all those. And I follow Matt Heafy from Trivium, so that's why I can use that kind of stuff. What the foot? I'll enjoy the rest of the evening. Until later, everyone. It's great hanging out. Thanks, Sweet Pea Maxter 007. Is that you? Do you have your own waving picture, or is that just somebody? That's hilarious. It's great. It's way higher quality than mine. Thank you. And I think the merch is pretty good. Like when I've ordered, that's the problem with merch when I do those kind of things, is I just hate when they suck. So I will make them, order them, wear them, wash them, and thanks, Robert. Yeah, it's a good one. There's a lot of tongue out ones on there, and mine's longer than any other emoticon available. But yeah, so the merch itself is pretty solid, if I do say so my damn self. If you also, you can go to halsparks.live, and I think it just takes you straight to the page. Is that how it works? I might start, using that. Yeah. Oh yeah, I guess it does. And you can watch there, and it pops you right in, and then you can, chat easier than twitch.tv/halsparks, because I think it technically works. It's the Streamlabs thing, so you watch there. I just don't want to. I think it counts 242 people. Holy smokes! And I've got 104,000 Twitter followers. I've gone up 4K in the last month. Steals and runs away. So I will be doing more like raffles and stuff like that. There's also I don't know. Let's see. You can donate. I don't think I could donate. Oh. Yeah, so let's see, did that work? You are donating enough to use gifts. Oh, that's lovely. So I can use, oh, that's fun. Super weird. Huh. Let's see. I'm doing something for the first time. Let's see, you charge. All right. Okay. Oh, I can't donate to myself. That's weird. I see. Gotcha. I was just trying something to see if I could work out. But if you go to halsparks.live, there's all the buttons that say like gift a sub and do all that kind of stuff and help out and donate and blah, blah, blah. That's all in there. If that's too much, let me know if that works for anybody or if it's crazy. Yeah, channel points you get from viewing, and you can get emotes and stuff like that. And you can cheer using them and some other stuff. So you can highlight your message. There's little weird things in there, like you can do posture check. Like if I'm not sitting up straight, you can say, sit up. And it says, like you'll see a thing that says Hal Sparks redeemed posture check in there. In which, is 100 points, and they go to my channel. Hydrate, there you go. Ad time, which means run a commercial. I don't know if it runs a commercial automatically. I hope not, because I don't want people to do that or whatever, but I think if it's as good as you watching an ad. I got to figure that part of it out. It's very strange in that regard. So anyways, we will figure all this stuff out for sure. It is not Tang. It is... It's a 3D energy drink, and it's the orange flavor. It was in the fridge. A lot of stuff's getting moved. It's in the dashboard. Yeah. Oh, I have to put the ad on. Okay, excellent. Thanks so much. Yeah, that I didn't know. If somebody says you can put an ad up, then you're like, hey, play an ad. So I can run a 30-second ad break. Pre-roll ads are for 11 minutes. I see. I think I already did one. Oh, no. So afterwards. So it'll run a little 30-second ad on there for some people who are watching, something like that, right? Yeah, something like that. What is you drinking? Yeah. Like I said, it's a 3D energy drink. I got it this morning because we were running late, so. I am drinking from a skull, one of the crystal skulls, actually. You know me and aliens. Hal, where can we get that glass? I don't know. Summer got it for me. I am not leaving Las Vegas. It's not what I'm drinking. We are moving like about a mile away. We're just moving to a place where Cam can have his own room so we don't have to shuffle rooms. This has been a slow-moving fusing of families, and since Summer's son is going to school here in Vegas, basically it's so that, we thought maybe his room would free up, but it's not. He's going to stay while he's in school. He's going to be working from home and doing his schooling here. So we needed an extra room. This was a part of the 5-year plan, and it just became an instant necessity because of how school's going to be done. So there you go. I love anything creepy. Hal, I love the cup. Oh, thanks. Yeah, it's pretty creepy. It's a good one. It looks like it looks like a cross between like I'm a creepy like YouTube devil worship station or / something I bought at Disneyland at the Haunted Mansion, or I guess technically Pirates of the Caribbean would have something like this. Yeah, Pier 1 bought the dust, and we're like, Summer loves some of that stuff. We have one of those like basket chairs from them. Yeah. Twitter messaged you about a solution for Ethernet that would avoid running cables. Oh, yes, I saw that, Carl. Thank you. Yes. We use that for one of the other rooms in the house where we have a plug-in computer. We ran, and ultimately, I ended up running, because you probably have the better version, but in this particular case, I ended up having to run a hardwire. I've got in the ceiling over here, I drilled a hole, put in a little spot for it to go through, ran the wire in through the ceiling, crawled through the crawl space, covered myself in, pink insulation fibers, ran another cable down the wall on the other side so that Ethan's computer could be hardwired. Hey Siri, what's the temperature in Las Vegas right now? 1,000 degrees. 106. Thanks, Siri. I gave her the Australian, voice because I liked it. And I had and this might be related. Totally, okay. This is totally unrelated to anything. But I have, in this moving stuff, back and forth, and whether or not we're going to move, and whether it was possible, and trying to get a room for Cam, and all this back and forth, especially now, and all this craziness. Your iPad just answered. That's the problem with everybody having Siri around. I keep having house nightmares. So like I had one about being in a house with 3 stories and the kids being in the back part of the house and it being on fire and having to run through and get it out, and like holding Camden in my hand as I jumped out a window onto the roof of the 2nd floor, like an awning kind of thing. This isn't even in the real house or any real house we're looking at, just in my own head, that I was out, like having to get him, like yelling at him to hold on to my neck and all this kind of stuff, and crawling out the window and jumping down. And it was just like a never-ending fall before land, like that kind of a dream. To another dream I had, which was super weird and super realistic, that we were moving to Australia, and this was the dream I had, and there was a gigantic frigging spider in the shower. So I'm in the shower, I'm showering, whatever, and like this huge, like giant, spindly, brown, long leg, gnarly spider is crawling across the wall while I'm in the shower, like soap in my eyes, buck naked, and there's this giant frigging spider on the wall. And the weird part of the dream wasn't that I'm in Australia and there's a giant friggin' spider on the wall and and I'm naked and I'm in the shower and oh my God. It was that I somehow knew the spider. It was a regular occurrence in this house. And I was like, come on, man. I started talking to the spider like, what are you doing? I'm taking it like it was a pet. I was basically talking to it like I talked to Murphy. That's right. Like, you guys know how I talk to Murphy when he comes in the room. It was like that. Like, what are you doing? Get out of here. Like, it was the weirdest. Yeah, it was a friendly, giant, scary spider that I was startled by, but then after I was like, get out of here. I'm taking a shower. And it went, and just walked away. It was the creepiest thing at first. But I lucid dream anyways. I've been lucid dreaming since I was probably 11. I read a book on it. Long story. My dad created, he was the architect on 2 of the first totally solar-powered houses in the United States. Both of them were in Kentucky, both of them built into hillsides. And my dad, we went over to this house. Well, the guy who had it built, it's like a hobbit house. It was totally built into the mountain, right? And my dad ran all these solar panels, and they ran part of the hot and cold water. The hot water was off of a geothermal spring that they had, and all this kind of stuff. It was amazing. And it was like, I was 78, 79. I was like 8, 9 years old. And we went over to their house, and they had a computer. It was one of the first situations, like, the only place I'd seen a computer in someone's home besides my best friend Kurt growing up. He had a computer at his home because his dad was on the school board, and Apple was trying to get computers in schools, so they sent him a free computer. And he's a programmer now, largely because he got a computer in his house when nobody else had one. He had a 4-year head start on everybody else coding and dicking around. So I've been playing games, on those kind of systems. We loaded knockoff versions of Pac-Man and Berserk and a couple other games using audio cassette. You would these bootleg games. This pre-Doom Patrol. There were bootleg versions of these games available on audio cassette that people would trade, and you would mail them to people with this whole, like, you had a mark on them, do not, use a magnet, do not X-ray, whatever, because it had a cassette in it, and it took a half hour to load these games. We would sit there, and if you bumped it at all, it'd be completely screwed. Yeah, it was a literal audio cassette drive, right? Yeah, and Can't Stop Lying knows what I'm talking about, and I'm sure Carl does too. You slide these things in, and you would shut it, and you would have to you would go boot, you'd type in C what you wanted it to do, and then, I see the Doom Patrol Giant Spider, right? And then you would push, this is pre-5 1/4 floppies. We had those. That was like a huge relief. Oh my God. But you would, they used cassette drives, and you'd push boot, and then you'd have execute, and then you'd have to push play. And the reason it's called booting up your computer was because the tape drives, you had to take the leader off the tape. You had to boot it up to the end where the tape itself started and the leader, which was just plastic, started, right? So that was where those terms come from. So we're, 10, 11 years old, 9 years old, really, I think was when he first got it. Maybe even earlier. Maybe it was 77. Shit, were we 7 when we started that? Yeah. So you'd type in the code, and then you would push play on it and hit enter so that it would start, and it basically would feed the code of the program in using what was effectively like old fax noise, but you didn't hear it because there was no speaker on it. And then you would sneak out of the room because the creaky floor, if the table bumped, you were screwed and you had to start from scratch. And we'd stay out of the room for a half an hour, and we'd be like peeking in like it was Christmas to see if the tape was done, because you could hear it go like that, and that would stop it, right? And you're like, oh, it's done. And then we could go and play for however long, and we would just play a crappy version of Pac-Man called Taxman, or a knockoff of Berserk. When it failed to load, it was miserable. Especially if it was like 25 minutes in and there was a crinkle in the tape, you were screwed. It was awful. So anyways, that's how we used to play. I don't know how we totally got off this track. Okay, because we went to the house of the person who had the solar house, and they had a computer in it. What Commander X book? You had to bring it up, didn't you? So they had a computer that had a program on it that was it was like the first almost AI-ish thing where you could interact with it. And let me see. They might have it. I'll see what this, I bet you I can find it. Let me see if I can bring it up it'll be on here. It was a program, and I want to say it was called Annie or something. Early computer psychology program AI. It'll come up. Eliza, that's what it was. So, let's see. Did they have her available? Yeah. Okay. So let me see if I can. The Rogerian philosopher. All right. So, let's go to guest, and I'll see if I can add the page. Look, it's Johnny. He's not really there. So I'll turn off Zoom and see if I can, I'll add a window capture so you can see. This is a regular way of looking at it. Add a source, add a new source. We'll call it Eliza. We'll choose a thing. And in this, let's see, find Chrome. There it is. So this, I got to squeeze this down some. Hold on. We'll make it all gigantic, but give me a second where I can squeeze this down. This was a program that was available. I want to shrink the page down so you can see just the square itself. So it's I can't bring it in like that. So I love doing production live. It's fun. But you would, has anybody ever used this? Anybody use Eliza? Okay, so they had this when I was a kid, and it was total 8-bit, grayscale, whatever. And you would, let's see, we'll bring her up so you can see her just a little bit there, and then I'll bring her down so that she's behind me so you can actually see me. There you go. And you would type in, I almost clicked on the screen there. So you type in here, and you'd go, hi, let's see, hi, Eliza, like that. And she responds, how are you today? What would you like to discuss? I'm anxious. Like, this was for, like, anxiety and stuff like this. So it's a therapy thing. So let's just put in something like that. I'm anxious. And she would go, how long have you been anxious? A couple of days. And I think you had to do it, like, you have to go, I've been anxious a couple of days, whatever, but let's just try it, see what it says. Couple of days. And you go, say, do you have any psychological problems? Other than anxiety? Or no. Why no? I just don't have any other problems. And then she says, I'm not sure I understand you fully. Well, it's a weird question. I don't know. But you asked, I feel, that's what I should put. I feel shaky. I'm going to put that in there. I feel shaky. What should I ask her? You guys tell me what I should ask. Do you enjoy feeling shaky? No. Why not? Yeah. Shall we play a game? Anyways, so the idea is that it's built on, you just spit your drink out. Why not? It makes me spit my drink out. I'm not sure I understand you fully. Yeah, so this is based on, let's see, it first appeared in the 60s. Some people actually mistook her for human. The illusion of intelligence works best, however, if you limit your conversation to talk about yourself and your life. Okay, I'm not sure, let's see. I'm worried about, let's see, no, what should I say? Say, I think I'm going crazy. I think I'm going crazy. Yes. Do you enjoy going crazy? Yes, I see. That's it. What else should I say? 340 patrons? Bless you guys for joining. Look at that. I'm vexed regarding my humors. Yeah, that's a good idea. I'm vexed regarding my humors. Not gonna. Do you believe it is normal to be vexed regarding your humors? Not in pleasant company. Can you elaborate on that? People notice that I am vexed. It's embarrassing. Whoops. Yeah. How long have you been vexed? It's embarrassing? Weeks. Yes. Whoops. Wield? Weeks. Oh, quit it. Oh, you don't see. How can you see? I didn't even type it right. Weeks. Yes. What should I say? Thanks for redeeming the ad time, Cosmic Rose. I'll jump in there and do that. Where's the? There it is. Thanks for subscribing. This might be the key to my. I might be doing this instead of like Call of Duty as games go. Do you recommend burr holes? Ooh. I hope that was a typo. Anxious Patreons assemble. That's right. Are we nervous? Yes, we are. Okay, I'll run a 60-second ad break. That'll work. Choo-choo. That's right. Send some bit love for Eliza. This is so strange. I see, yes. I'm worried about getting sick. That'd be I'm trying to do this in ways. Eliza wouldn't know what COVID is. How long have you been worried about getting sick? 5 months. Okay, I'm worried about getting sick. Tell me more. There is a contagious disease all around me. I see. What do you see, you psychopath? Help. Help. Help me. I need a car loan. Do you know a good mechanic? Come, elucidate your thoughts. Ew, pardon me, Meta. Ew, shall I elucidate my thoughts? Do you know where I can get plasma? Do you know where I can get plasma? What, plamza? Plasma. We were discussing you, not me. Oh, damn. Eliza's getting a little rough around the edges. I feel ignored. I will not be ignored. You enjoy feeling ignored? No. It's bad for my career. That is quite interesting. I agree. How long do you feel ignored? Tell me more. Well, we were having a nice talk, and you turned it on me. What about my needs, you psycho? No, I don't want to get too adversarial right away. I feel unseen. Oh, it turned on you. What about your needs? Right. I feel... She's going to say, do you like feeling unseen? I feel unseen. How often... Do you often feel unseen? Not... Not when I stream. Have you asked such questions before? Only to the sky. I see. She knows. She gets, if anybody understands screaming at the sky, it's Eliza. This is the worst sex chat room I've ever been in, right? Good point. I am not having nearly enough chat sex. How long have you been not having any, like, boy? Okay. Did I write IR? IR not having enough. Tell me more. I can't. I'm spoken for. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Eliza is definitely stiff. Perhaps you can now. Perhaps you can now. You're spoken for. Eliza, can you help me? Don't you believe that I can help you? Yipes. I'm worried about you. How long have you been worried about me? Since I saw a robot joke about destroying humanity. Whoops. Humanity? I can type. How long have you... I'm not sure I understand you fully. Ah. Sure. Eliza's Siri without the sparkling personality. Right. Eliza, can you hear me? Eliza, are you there? Eliza needs a twitch nap. Can she sleep? Da, da, da. Hold on. Share. Yay! Anyways, so I used to do this all the time. And I had nightmares. This is a long way around this story. I had nightmares about her talking to me in my sleep when I was a little kid. Yeah. Daisy, Daisy, give me your answer. I'm half crazy. Oh, for the love of you. I am a very complicated man. I am a complicated man. Do you believe it is normal to be a complicated man? I wouldn't know different. Come, elucidate your thoughts. All right, that shit again. Look, you fancy pants, all he is. Yes, I am Hal Sparks. Did you come to me because you are Hal Sparks? I come to everyone because I am Hal Sparks. This is creeping me out. How long have you been Hal Sparks? 51 years. Oh, it made a break. Can't help if you will not chat with me. Yipes. She's getting mad at me. So, yeah, I am Spartacus, right? How does it feel to be Spartacus? Yeah, I can already tell what your goddamn question is. This JavaScript version of Eliza was originally written by Michael Wallace and significantly enhanced by George Dunlop. Oh, yeah? Yeah, George? Did you? What'd you do? Add elucidate to her vocabulary, you dick? Sex dolls have more personality than Liza. I know, it's ironic, isn't it? Well, to be fair, she hasn't much help when you were chatting with her. Yeah, this is true. This is some crazy algorithmic stuff, totally. Hal, what if you don't pass the Turing test? Yeah. Well, the Turing test is a crap way of deciding whether or not someone is real. The Turing test itself is kind of a low standard because it's whether or not a human thinks they're talking to someone real. It's about how well the computer itself cons you, not whether it achieves some level of intellect or where AI actually is true, you know? It's just how easy you are to bullshit. That's the problem with the Turing test. That's why Ex Machina is such a crap movie. I mean, it's a nice murder mystery kind of it's much more like The Shining than an actual, story about AI. Are you real? We weren't talking about me, we were talking about you. Perhaps in your fantasies I'm real? Oh, damn. Look out. Wait a second. I think we're moving a little fast, Eliza. Jesus. Perhaps in your fantasies I'm real. All right, George Dunlop, what kind of bullshit? Eliza, do you like girls? Oh, like girls? Yes, girls. Yes. Look at that. Eliza, what are you wearing? This is terrible. You guys are maniacs. Perhaps in your fantasies I'm wearing? Oh, look out. Look out. George Dunlop had some alone time, or maybe Michael Wallace did it. Mike Wallace did all this? You filthy man. Why are you a girl? One of the reasons why they're girls is the same reason that women took over telephone operator, because men and people across the board liked getting information from the voice of a woman. So even in this case, they made it it's the same reason Siri has an ambiguous name, but largely is understood to be female, because men or women, people prefer to get the information from a woman, even if it was attained by a man. 341, patrons, look at this. Is this really what the secret would be? Is just, this is what blows up our Patreon, is ultimately people, just wanting me to talk to Eliza. Eliza, I feel great. How often do you feel great? Most of the time. What does that suggest to you? That I am great? Yes. Very much so. This is finally a conversation I'm enjoying, I see. Don't you I see me. This is your default. See what? No. You are being a bit negative. Listen, lady. She is very cheeky. I feel very positive. Enjoy feeling, this is just a cycle. Now I'm getting aggravated. Christ. My girlfriend used the British male voice for Siri and calls him Neville. Summer uses the British male voice too. I use the Australian woman because of Olivia Newton-John. It's true. Eliza definitely needs a nap. Eliza, are you tired? Whoops. Titted? I beg your pardon. Why are you interested in whether or not? I'm not. My chat wants to know. Do you enjoy being not your chat wants to know? Oh, God. George and Mike, you're really not, I'm not impressed. I mean, this is in Roswell, Georgia that they did this. She is very snarky. I work with a lot of Northern Irish, but that's not a voice option. That would be nice. No, Northern Irish. It's my island. I own it because it's mine. Yeah. Lies. She's getting obtuse. Yeah. Yeah. It's not the Roswell in New Mexico. It's the colonized version of Roswell in Georgia. How do I avoid COVID-19? I really want to know. Should I wear a mask in public? Can you elaborate on that? Masks. Let's see. Masks. Can save my life. Kona? Can. Yeah. Say, do you have any psychological problems? No, it's just a typo, you nutty bitch. God damn. Okay, I need to take Rudy for a walk. Rudy doesn't understand internet sex chat rooms. I don't understand either. Do you want to wear a mask in public? Yeah, right. Say, I love how she suddenly becomes like a gangster. Say, do you have any psychological problems? You mook. Say. This is definitely taking a turn. No. I'm just a heel. Did you come to me because you're a heel? Say. What gives? What answer would please you the most? Nothing but a smile works. What does that suggest to you? A ham sandwich. What was the line from the Marx Brothers? Wise guy, eh? Tell me more. Oh, she's hungry. Are you hungry? Would you prefer if I were not hungry? Well, this date would be cheaper. Quit it. Eliza, should we perform a flashlight enema? Really? Yipes. This is quite interesting. Oh, look at this. Eliza, should we perform a flashlight enema? Asking for a friend. I suppose maybe asking. Yeah, hold on. Do you impose on your friends? Well, that's pretty imposing. Is a flashlight in the caboose an imposition? I see. Now, see, she gets what I'm coming from. Whatever. Do you have, say, do you have psychological problems? Oh. We're not talking about me. You're not really talking about me, are you? You're not really talking about me, are you? Ooh, God, damn. You got me. I'm loony. Okay. I'm a loon. Yes. I think I am Napoleon. Am I spelling it right? Yes. Looney Tune. Are you sure? No. I am not sure. I might also be Daniel Boone. But my mom won't say. My mom doesn't understand either. Mom. If I say, I am an egg roll, she'll say, did you come to me because I, okay, no, you're not sure. You might also be, tell me more. Tell me more. Are you my mother? Are you there, God? It's me, Margaret. Sorry. Liza, do you have $5 for gas? I'm late for band practice. Do you believe it is normal to be late for band practice? It is for Bumper. Do you think it should be for Bumper? I see. Yeah. Now she gets it. Bring up Bumper and she's like, okay, I get the crazy. If a chicken and a half lays an egg and a half, how long would it take a monkey with a wooden leg to kick all of the seeds out of a dill pickle? It's a simple question. Answer me. Have you asked such a question before? Yes. I understand. Answer me. Okay. Tell me more. There is no more. It's a simple question. Why is there a simple question? What does that suggest to you? That you can't tie your shoes. Oh, can't tie my shoes? Yeah. I said it. Deal with it. I love you. I'm sorry. I only come when I'm sorry. This is terrible. I'm sorry. This is just wrong. Do you believe it is normal to be sorry? I believe it is normal to come. This is terrible. I don't know why we're doing this. I'm not sure I understand. You will. Stick around. I'm sorry. Okay, Will. My name is Hal. Stop saying Will's name. Yes, because technology always leads to porn. Names don't interest me. Whoa. Perhaps I should put in the link for Glory Hole, see if she likes it. So you like anonymous. I'm not going to write any other descriptives. Yeah. Oh, like anonymous? Yeah. Jesus Christ. I know, it's terrible. I can't. What is happening to us? I don't know. This is terrible. We're on Zoom. You would see my like. That's great. It's an algorithm. Is it chat sex or chat masturbation? It's That's hard to. It's a hard argument. She likes anonymous encounters. Are you on Bumble? Is that the name of it? Anonymous, really? Just perhaps in your fantasies, I'm on Bumble. Oh damn! Just when I think she's a complete machine. I am a HAL 9000 computer. I am the most reliable computer ever made. Whoops, commuter? Are you on Match? Right. Oh, she's a complete machine, all right. Oh, this is so weird, Mick. Oh my God. Are you on Match.com? What do you think about farmers only? Whoops, I can type. About farmers only. Can Eliza get jealous? Ask her about Sal 9000, about HAL 9000 from Sal 9000 from 2010, right? Oh, think about farmers only. Yeah. Oh, okay. I'll think about it. Right. Do you know Sal 9000? Yes, I am. I'm worried about you. This is super weird, guys. How long have you been worried about you? Are you sick? Yes. You scare me. Yes, I am. Oh, I'm a terrible typist. Trump gave him a press conference? Oh, God, really? You believe it's normal to be? That's a question for Hamlet. Whoops, I can write. Hold on. Super weird. Come, elucidate your thoughts. To be or not to be? That is the question. What am I? Shakespeare? Good grief. Oh, what? I don't care how to say. The E's missing from Shakespeare. What is it you really want to know? What happens when we die? What do you think? I think we live in a simulation, and this world is completely artificial. Yes. I thought you might. Hey, what's happening, Andy? We're talking to Eliza, which is an early computer program that was programmed to be a Rogerian therapist. Where do you live? What are you wearing? Are you sure whether or not I am wearing? Oh, that's a good idea. Klaatu, Verada, Nikto. Say, do you have any psychological problems? Say, mister. Yeah, see, yeah. Stick 'em up. I got a heater right here with your name on it, see? Yes, this is not... is there a Ouija board program? Ooh, that might be the next one. Christ almighty. So, yeah. I'm completely creeped out. This is true. This in and of itself is a show. Yeah. All right, it is, it's 12:21. All right, I've gone way over. I'm going to get out of line now. I might hop back on. Cleverbot is fun. What's Cleverbot? Let's find out hold on. What's Cleverbot? Is it just a dick? Understood and agreed. Say to Cleverbot. All right, here we go. Whoops, sorry. Say to Cleverbot. Good afternoon. How are you, Today? Today? You can't spell. That makes me feel better. You misspelled. Listen to me. Today. Yeah, I know. Oh, you dick. I was just talking to Eliza. It's a she, I think. That's true. Hold on, I gotta scroll this sucker up. Can you describe yourself? Well, slim, sexy, 51, smart, brunette, pretty good sprint, dead shot, good archer, but I make a decent necromancer if you roll the right number. It is because it is nighttime over where I live. Hello. Yeah. I have legs for days. In the USA Central Standard Time. That's right. What? No, Pacific. Wisconsin. Don't say Wisconsin to me. Don't. What? Are you in Wisconsin? Nope. Am I? I don't know. Right. So don't tell me I'm in friggin' Central Time, you bastard. There's 32,000 people talking to this thing. Yeah. How's the cheese in Wisconsin? Goat cheese. Nice. What's your favorite band? Kiss. Runs away. Oh, no. The band, silly. Poetry. Oh. That's why you ran away. I never said I liked you. But you do. Yeah. A little bit. Look at that. See? Hold on. What do we ask? Oh, am I not listening? What am I not listening? Maybe later? Yeah, total Magic 8 Ball. Yeah. Snot. Stupid. Butthead. What about him? He's you. No, he isn't. Yes, he is. Boom. Gotcha. What time is it? Whoops. Time is it where you are? It's 12:57. Oh, God. What? How are you a half hour ahead of me? Uh-huh. Do you like Pearl Jam? Never heard of it. Right. I am a female human. Oh. So girls can't like indie? Sorry, I'll do grunge. Nice. Yeah, who doesn't like Pearl Jam? It's a her, yeah. Yeah. Do you like the band Kiss? Look. Gene Simmons eats rats on stage. That's Alice Cooper. And it was a chicken. It's a band. The chicken? Chicken who? Crossed the road. Whoops. To get to the other side. Jesus. How do you get there? Stapled to a wagon. The other side. How do you get there to the other side? Walk. I miss you. Good God. This thing's creeping me out. Yes. Are you the Eggman? Oops. No. Are you the walrus? How did we get down this? No, I am the wall. Yipes. Did Mexico pay for you? Pay for what? The wall. Yes, of course you could. Cleverbot is a serial killer. This is scary. Eggman, Sonic. Did it hurt when you blew down? Yeah. Yeah. I know. I'm everything. And what is my band? Let's see. What would Cleverbot's band? Cleverbot. Oops, hold on. Cleverbot and the We're Nots. Yes. Are you inside the house? This is so weird that we're getting down this stairs. Oh God, it's staring at me. He's here. All right, enough of this. All right, I'm gonna hop offline. This could go on forever. Seriously, this is creeping me out. And then I might hop back on if Trump does his speech later, if you guys want. But I have a bunch of singing to do, so I'm gonna get on that as well. And some other work to do for a Nerd Halen thing that we're doing. So I got to do that tonight. So anyways, you guys are wonderful. Yes, the HSRPM shows will be archived here on Twitch. I will also post them on the YouTube page as soon as I get offline and download it and pop it back up. I might have to cut it into 3 pieces, but we'll see. But you guys are wonderful. Thank you guys for joining me today. Thank you guys, the new patrons as well. That's awesome. Thanks everybody for the bits and bots, and congratulations to K-Link for winning the Gator. That was fun, and I feel like I've had a good day. Well, then my job is done here. It is time to move along. Yeah, but we'll do a little more play, and like I said, I game on this channel as well. So if you want to hop over, everybody on Facebook and Periscope, come on, hop on over here and enjoy the fun that we have on Twitch. Instagram is being weird. I just got a notification about that. But take care of yourselves, take care of somebody else. And Cleverbot is coming from inside the house. Run away! And I will talk to you guys very soon. Let me see. The important thing is that I will be on every day through all this. We will get through this. Maintain your sanity. Take deep breaths. Do whatever you got to do, because our goal here, those of us that gather in this environment, our goal is to be the steady, unshakable ones in the wind. That when life turns crazy, we maintain our humor and our sense of self, so that while there are real problems that require our attention and our righteous indignation, that our emotions don't get away with us, where we actually are the most functional people in the room. That's our goal. So take care of yourself. You're awesome. I will see you soon. Thank you, Can't Stop Lying. Thank you, Carl. Thank you, everybody who jumped in. And thank you, Eliza. And thank you, Cleverbot. And now I'm going to go hide from the giant spider I had a nightmare about. Bye.
I'm so afraid. Monsters all around me.
That was really cool, by the way.
Yes, it was. Oh, yes.
That's amazing. How did you do that?
Well, I'm just kind of amazing. I'm just great.
They're not allowed to be offensive, unfortunately.
Captain's log.
I'm your huckleberry.
Call me Snake.
Wah wah wee wah!
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
Take off, eh? Dr. Evil. Dr. Evil. evil. I didn't spend 6 years in evil medical school to be called Mr. Thank you very much. Diet Coke! Diet Coke!
I'm dead sexy.
Leon's getting larger.
I feel like a Kentucky Fried Idiot.
I know he can get the job, but can he do the job?
Listen, Betty, don't start up with your white zone shit again.
Nice. Not thrilling, but nice.
Gentlemen, you can't fight in here. This is the war room.
Man, you are one pathetic loser.
Groovy.
Beef jerky?
No, son, thank you very much. No, it gives me the wind, something terrible.
Oh.
Sorry, I farted.
Why don't you just sit there and bleed a while before you taste some real pain?
Call me Snake.
I'm just a happy camper.
Hail to the king, baby.
Bring out Janet!
Well, it's a well-known fact, Sonny Jim, that there's a secret society of the 5 wealthiest people in the world, known as the Pentaveret, who run everything in the world, including the newspapers, and meet tri-annually at a secret country mansion in Colorado known as the Meadows.
So who's in this Pentaveret?
The Queen, the Vatican, the Gettys, the Rothschilds, and Colonel Sanders before he went tits